if they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a... If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a... If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a... If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a... If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed,
You have a pen?
that is going to put me in a... If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a... If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems.
This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope. We just got done visiting Mustafa. Today is Saturday. Mustafa is hanging in there. There's a lot that's coming out of this case. There's a lot of development. There's a lot of things that are happening. On the last podcast, we talked about the Brady motion that was filed in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. And the motion went through. Judge Carol Weimer approved the motion forward. Now, some of the things that went forward in the Brady motion, some of the Brady violations, is that Mustafa's statement is falsified by investigator Robert Drum. Mustafa's vehicle is crushed and staged by the police department. The children are weaponized against Mustafa. A 9, a 10, a 14 is weaponized against Mustafa. Evidence showed that it's a beautiful relationship. Mustafa loved the children, loved his girlfriend. There's a Google Nest video, days on days of Google Nest videos inside the apartment that shows it's a beautiful relationship. But the police, while Mustafa was in a coma after the vehicle accident, the children were being weaponized by investigator Romero before they were put into a forensic interview. The dash camera in Mustafa's vehicle is cut and muted. Investigator Chad Mason already admitted to Judge Carol Weimer that he cut and muted the dash camera and took 17 frames from the camera facing inside the vehicle. For 2.5 years, they've been telling us that there is no audio to this dash camera. Officer Zymus admit in the case file that this dash camera does have audio. So an independent expert is going to inspect the SD card and the dash camera that the police department has, and the audio is coming out. And the full dash camera is coming out because the dash camera that they have in the server in the police department, evidence.com, it's cut before impact. This investigator, Chad Mason, cut and muted this dash camera. Now, these are some of the highlights in the Brady motion that went forward in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Now, before we go on into what we're going to talk about today, I want to thank, right behind me is a county jail. Right next to it is the courthouse of Prince William County. Right next to it is the sheriff's office. I want to thank the colonel for the county jail, Captain West. This is a new colonel. The old Colonel Militas, is no longer here. and Mustafa was abused and beaten up by correctional officer under Colonel Melita's watch. This county jail changed a lot under the leadership of Colonel West. I want to thank the correctional officer that sat at the front today. Mustafa was a little bit late to the visit before they brought him in. For whatever reason, they brought him in a little bit late. That was taken care of. Specifically, I want to thank the correctional officer that sat at the front for taking care of that. Yesterday, I had a beautiful interaction with I was out and about talking about and promoting the podcast that we have. And I ran into a police officer, and I didn't recognize him, but he recognized me from a year ago. It was a beautiful interaction. He asked me about my brother. He checked on Mustafa. He checked on me and my family. And it was a beautiful interaction. His whole unit was there. And I want to thank them for being there. And it's always beautiful when you run into officers that care about this community. What we have on this podcast and what we talk about is files on specific police officers. It's easy to walk away from this podcast and say all police officers are bad. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, the majority of police in Prince William County, in Stafford County, in Fredericksburg, Manassas, they serve and protect this community. They're from this community. What I have here on this podcast is specific files on specific police officer that engage in police misconduct. I couldn't read that. What is it? Just continue. Keep going. We have specific files on specific police officer, and specifically Chief of Police Peter Newsham. What I find really interesting is I sit here on this podcast. I'm sitting right in front of the sheriff office, and I'm telling you that I have access to your server, the police department server, evidence.com, and I took the file of Mustafa Aljazairi. I took other files from other cases that I have evidence that your police officers, specific police officer, are engaged in police misconduct. And you're nowhere to be found. So you want to tell me that at Prince William County, you can just willy-nilly enter the server, the police department server, evidence.com, and you're just going to pretend it's not happening? That's interesting. I mean, everybody that's tuning in, they're asking that question, where is the chief of police, from this guy that sits in front of the sheriff office on a podcast telling you that he entered the police department server. And the real answer is that this chief is so terrified because the file that's being leaked show that on his watch, police officer falsified the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Police officers weaponized a 9, a 10, a 14 against Mustafa while he was in a coma, specifically Investigator Romero. You have Officer Robert Drum falsified Mustafa's statements. You have witnesses in this case that's being brought in on body cam, allowed to manufacture a story about Mustafa. On body cam, they say we didn't see anything, but they're allowed to make up a story about Mustafa. A vehicle that's crushed and staged by the police department. I have that body cam. Why do you think the chief of police is so terrified to talk or put me in handcuffs? I'm telling you that I've entered your police department server and I'm leaking the files. I've got body cams all over the internet. I've got a sealed document, a sealed file that's being leaked all over the internet. But this chief of police is terrified to address the issue because he allowed those police officers to do what they wanted in this case. And now the community is watching. The federal government is watching. Because when we used to go to the federal government before, they tell you that this case is sealed on the county level, on the state level. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth sealed this case. You can no longer FOIA request anything out of this case. You can't even FOIA request the dash camera in Mustafa's vehicle. But I've entered the server, the police department server, and I've leaked the whole entire file where now the federal government is watching what is taking place in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. And what I find really interesting, Mustafa was scheduled for trial back in December. What's interesting,
December of 2024.
back December 2024. Mustafa now has a new lawyer, the best lawyer, the top public defender out of
In Northern Virginia.
in Northern Virginia. That's Mustafa's lawyer now, Brad Haywood. Just about $100,000 the government is pumping into Mustafa's case to get to the bottom of what is going on in the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Now Mustafa has money for the independent expert to reconstruct the car accident. Now Mustafa has money for an independent expert to look and download the SD card, the dash camera, the dash camera in Mustafa's car.
Chad Mason tampered with.
That Chad Mason admitted to cutting and muting. Wait a minute. Mustafa was scheduled for trial back in December 2024. But now you have a lawyer, you have $100,000. I thought this case was open and shut, that Mustafa is guilty. They've been telling us that Mustafa is guilty.
Well, that's
But
what
since
Julie Carey wants to tell us.
Julie Carey with NBC4 like to tell us that. But since the file is leaked and the federal government is looking into the Mustafa Aljazairi case, now he has a lawyer, a new lawyer. He has $100,000. They're looking into the Mustafa Aljazairi case. Now, I want to
Julie
thank...
Carey's not updating this community. on
Julie
what's going on.
Carey is nowhere to be found. Originally, she ran with the story, with whatever the police were saying, whatever Commonwealth Amy Ashworth said. She ran with the story. But since the file leaked on the internet, Julie Carey with NBC4 is nowhere to be found. Now, I want to thank Muhammad for being here. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
What we have in the Brady motion that went forward is Judge Carol Weimer, the presiding judge, approved the Brady motion with everything that's going on in this case. Now, he has no option but to approve what is going on because the file is leaked. On body cam, in these documents, you see that the children have been weaponized, that Mustafa's statement has been falsified, that the vehicle is crushed and staged, that the prosecutor blocked the reconstruction of the vehicle, that Chad Mason cut and muted this dash camera. Now, he's not doing Mustafa a favor by approving the Brady violation. It's all there. The community is watching these body cams, is watching this file leaked all over the internet. The Judge Carol Weimer, is slowly washing his hands from this prosecutor. He's been protecting this prosecutor for the past 2.5 years. He's been protecting the police department for the past 2.5 years. Now, this is the same judge that sealed off the case. What he did during that Brady motion is that he approved the Brady motion, but blocked the communication of Prosecutor Sarah Sammy. Why is that so important? Muhammad, why is that so important? The reason it's important...
And she almost celebrated at the back of the courtroom.
I mean, with Internal Affairs.
Brandon Dudley.
They laughed it up.
She was almost celebrating. She was telling him that she's not going to release anything.
They think this community is stupid, that they're going to patch this up, do a patch-up job. I mean, it's the cat is already out the bag.
Here's the thing that I don't get. She tells the judge that no one from her office, she never made contact with the children. No one made contact with the children other than the forensic psychologist who's trained to deal with children, minors. Isn't that what she said?
She told Judge Carol Weimer that the only time the children
were
spoken to during a forensic interview.
That's what she tells the judge on the record. Now, is it not true that you have a document that shows Prosecutor Sammy, as well as Maloff and Officer Jason O'Sullivan, having a private meeting with a minor, one of the minors of Dorothy's children? You have that document.
I do have that document. The problem here is Judge Carol Weimer denied the release of her communication.
Because she says there's nothing there.
Because she said there's nothing there. And she said, it's dangerous, Your Honor, to release my communication. Why is it dangerous? There is evidence of missing body cams.
I mean, is she
missing files.
Is she trying to pull an Elaine where she says it's dangerous? Is she being threatened by the police?
That's what the judge told her. He flat out asked her. He said, "Are you being threatened by the police?" That's what he asked her.
I mean, that's a very it's a valid question. Is she being threatened by the police? And why is she telling the main person in charge out of internal affairs? Why is she telling him, "I'm not releasing anything further"?
I mean, this judge just told her.
She's confirming.
He denied the release of her communication because Brad Haywood, Mustafa's defense, made a point to the judge that he said, I have evidence that the police, there is missing body cams in this case that's going to implicate the police in weaponizing the children, falsifying this whole entire case. She said, Your Honor, there are no missing body cams.
Well, did you look? Did you look?
He said, did you look? She said, I'm not aware of anything that took place.
She said she hasn't looked.
She didn't look.
So how would you know? How would she know that there's nothing else there if she's admitting that she hasn't? I mean, look, we know this prosecutor likes to lie. I mean, she lied just the other day. You have a document that shows she had a private meeting with a minor without the forensic psychologist, by the way, who's trained to deal with kids. She had a private meeting with one of the minors who's allegedly a witness in the Mustafa Aljazairi case, and she told the judge that no one spoke to the minors other than the forensic psychologist.
Mustafa's defense told absolutely. Mustafa's defense, Brad Haywood, told Judge Carol Weimer that I have a forensic interview that Javen, the 14-year-old, says that the investigator told him that Mustafa ran away, left his 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. And that's what the child is talking about in the forensic interview. And if Mustafa hadn't run away, the police are telling this child that we could have saved your baby sister. That's what the child is talking about. That Mustafa ran out. Mustafa was in a coma. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. So Brad Haywood is telling the judge, Your Honor, the children have been weaponized against Mustafa. Now, where is the body cam of Investigator Romero when he talked to the children? Because evidence show, I mean, this prosecutor wants to use these children as witnesses against Mustafa. Where is the communication between Investigator Romero and the children before they were walked into a forensic interview?
Where's the body cam from Kylie when she privately met with Prosecutor Sammy?
Absolutely.
Where's Jason O'Sullivan's body cam? Why don't you pull that up so that I think people need to see exactly what we're talking about? Because, you know, it's one thing to say, oh, I didn't know other prosecutors met with one of the children, with one of the minors. It's one thing to say that, to say, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that a minor met with one of the prosecutors. There's too many prosecutors here. But the problem here is this is Sarah Sammy meeting with the minor. Okay, this is her meeting with the minor.
Because originally, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy told the judge that, Your Honor, the children were not weaponized. The only time they were spoken to is inside the forensic interview.
Only by the forensic psychologist who's trained to deal with kids. That's what she tells the judge.
And that's when Brad Haywood, Mustafa's attorney, told the judge, Your Honor, the child is talking about having conversations with the investigator. Specifically, the child is talking about that this investigator told him that Mustafa ran away, left his baby sister to bleed to death.
Let's get into this document.
And then the judge is asking Sarah Sammy Are you aware of the communication? Do you know what they told the children before they were walked into the forensic interview? She says, Your Honor, I have no idea what communication took place.
Right. She has no idea, the same way she had no idea that she was meeting with the minor.
Mohammed, why am I looking at a document?
Let's make this full screen real quick. Okay, can you zoom in a little bit? Just to match the screen? No, not like that.
I think I can, yeah. Let's see. There we go.
Okay.
That's better.
So, this was what, like 3 weeks ago? The Brady motion.
Yeah.
She stood up in court on the record and told the judge no one spoke to the minors other than the forensic psychologist. Now, on March 15th, 2024, Mallet, one of the prosecutors, Sammy, and myself. So this is a narrative by Jason A. O'Sullivan, Officer Jason O'Sullivan. Okay? So he says on March 15th, 2024, that Prosecutor Mallet, Prosecutor Sammy, and himself arranged a follow-up meeting with Kylie Clapp, a minor, at the courthouse. The purpose of the meeting was to touch base with Kylie to see how she was doing and to see if she recalled what she disclosed during the forensic interview. Kylie was able to make very similar statements as to the behavior of Mustafa Aljazairi and her mother as she had previously during the forensic interview on September 8th, 2023. Now, I'll just say this.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought the prosecutor is telling Judge Carol Weimer that the only time the children were spoken to is inside the forensic interview.
So why?
And she's not aware of any communication.
Well, hold on a second. First of all, why is the prosecutor meeting with a minor without a parent? Why is she meeting with this minor without a parent? We know from the body cams that investigator Rob Davis has Kylie on speed dial.
I have that body cam.
Okay, so Rob Davis is having his own private communication with Kylie.
And right after he gets off the phone call with Kylie, he's dialing in Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, updating her on what he just talked about with a minor, and he's not with the forensic unit, by the way. He's not with the children forensic unit.
He's definitely not with the forensic unit of the children. And so he's having conversation with Kylie. The prosecutor and police are having private conversations with Kylie. Okay, where's the body cam from it?
You want to tell me that you talk to children without body cams?
And I'll say this, if you're willing to lie to the judge on the record, if you're willing to lie about a meeting that took place with you and a minor, and there's no document what she said. I mean, how do we know what she said? How do we know that her statements are repetitive from the September 8th, 2023 interview? How do we know that? Mustafa's defense is entitled to it. Brady versus Marland. Okay? By law,
specifically,
the prosecutor has to release whatever Kylie said in that interview and prior interviews. That has to be disclosed to Mustafa's attorney.
Specifically, if there is a bias in this case against Mustafa. Now, from the forensic interview, the 14-year-old is talking about that the police lied to him before they walked him into a forensic interview. Now, that's a bias. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, at one point in a bond motion, stood in front of the judge and told the judge, Judge Carol Weimer, Your Honor, I have two separate forensic interviews where the children are talking about Mustafa. They're talking negative about Mustafa. Wait a minute. Evidence showed that your police officers weaponized those children against Mustafa before they put them in a forensic interview. Where is the communication? Now, that's a problem when she says, I'm not aware of any communication. The kids were not weaponized. Well, evidence showed that you've been updated.
You're looking at a document.
You're looking at the document.
You're looking at the document. The fact that this meeting took place is a problem.
She lied.
The material of this meeting is also a bigger problem because what was said, this is an alleged witness. This is exculpatory evidence. What did this witness state on March 15th? And how are we supposed to get it? How is the defense supposed to get it? By law, they're entitled to it. How are they going to get it? If they're having private meetings left and right, if they're having private conversations like Davis, like Drum calling Kylie, Romero talking to the children prior to them, how are you supposed to get this material information without getting the communication of these officers and the prosecutor?
Well,
the only way is to get their communication.
Well, when Brad Haywood puts in the Brady motion and asks for the communication of the prosecutor, Judge Carol Weimer tells the prosecutor, I need you to release the communication and the body cams that are missing to the defense. But I'm not going to release your communications. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that you're going to trust this prosecutor that just lied to you in court?
I mean,
you should have seen after court. She goes to the captain for internal affairs, who was sitting right behind her, and she's laughing with him, telling him there is nothing to release. I've already given the defense everything.
She's basically confirming to the police that I'm not releasing anything without your authorization.
And the judge is confirming to the prosecutor and the police, you're protected. They think this community is stupid. I mean, you want to talk about Judge Carol Weimer. Is he impartial in the Mustafa Aljazairi case? Well, I can't not help to jump to the conclusion that Judge Carol Weimer is in on it. Why block the communication of the prosecutor when the defense is telling you, you just approved the Brady motion? Why block her communication when evidence show that this case, there's a bias in it? Specifically, Brady versus Marland entitles Brad Haywood to the communication.
I watched your podcast from Monday.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you were honing in on this narrative that Casey Fines was on the scene and he's tampering with witnesses.
That's right. You're talking about Exhibit 4.
Exhibit 4. Yeah.
Casey Fines, as soon as he gets on scene, he tells the main investigator, Robert Drum, that Mustafa is on drugs. He puts the title on Mustafa, even though Mustafa's toxicology show no drugs, no alcohol. But he puts that title on Mustafa, steering the investigation with a bias.
So you're showing that the officer, Casey Fines, is going around telling witnesses that we need you. We need you to get this guy off the streets. Okay, this guy just killed a mother and her child. He's a drug user. He's a known drug user. He's an abuser. And it's up to you, the witness, to get him off the street. We need you. And I noticed that in some of the clips where somebody says, I didn't see anything. And the officer tells him, can you just put down anything?
Nicki Minaj.
Can you put down anything? We just want anything. Anything that you can put down. Even if you didn't see it, we just want something down. Okay? Now, did they want these witnesses' information so that later they could be tampered with, so that they can tell these people, come on in, we're going to coach you on what to say during trial. This is what we need you to say. And I noticed that one of the witnesses, this really stood out to me. One of the witnesses says, the lady in the white SUV, she says, I think she said, I was in front of him and I heard brake skid before the large impact. That's what she says. She says, I heard brake skid before the impact.
You're talking about the lady with the green shirt.
She says, I didn't see it.
That lady with the green shirt?
Yeah, but I heard the brake skid before impact. Now, we know from the data recorder that the SUV never hit the brake. That's a fact. The SUV driver never hit the brake. So it couldn't be her. Those brake skids were not her. We know Mustafa was on the brake the entire time. Okay? So the thing that I find really interesting that stood out to me from that witness is that she stated in her written statement, she said, I did not notice any erratic driving prior, because I think she was ahead of him or behind him. I don't know.
I can pull up the video.
She was in his proximity.
Yeah.
But she specifically said that she did not notice any erratic driving. Now, Casey Fines is going around He's going around with his body cam muted, talking to witnesses. Okay, I mean,
That's right. He mutes his body cam.
We know what he's telling people. We know for sure what he's telling people.
I mean, if he's telling the main investigator that Mustafa's on drugs, you don't think he's going around telling people?
100%.
I mean, what he's going around telling people, a mother and her daughter
just died because of him, a drug user.
It's not up to me, the police officer, to get justice. It's up to you to get justice.
So she crosses that part out. She puts a line right through it. Why? Why did this witness change her statement on the scene? Why? And specifically to say there was no erratic driving. There was no erratic driving prior to the accident.
Yeah.
What is so significant about that? I mean, why would she change her statement unless an officer came up to her and said, hey, that's not really helpful. You know, what you're saying here is not really helpful to the narrative. Somebody like Casey Fines. Okay, because we know, by the way, we know that Officer Serdam on body cam talks to her initially. He makes first contact with her. And she tells him that there was no erratic driving. And then later, after Casey Fines makes contact with her, she's changing her statement. She says, you know, that last part about the erratic driving, I don't want to say anything about that. And she crosses it out. You know, if you did not steal the file.
Absolutely.
If you did not steal the file,
absolutely,
we would not know that this witness changed her statement on the scene after police talked to her. She's going to change it in court for sure. If she's ever called to the stand, is she ever going to say anything about no erratic driving? Of course not, because Casey Fine told her that's not beneficial to the narrative. I mean, we're trying to get this guy off the street. You have
Officer Casey Fine going around to the bystander on the scene, telling them it's up to you to get justice. This guy that's in a coma, that's laying on the floor in front of his vehicle in a coma,
he's the reason.
He's the reason. A mother and her daughter lost their life. He's on drugs. He's telling the main investigator that, and then he mutes his body cam, and he's going around making contact with these bystanders.
Okay,
you don't think? I mean, the case gets sealed. You don't think they're going to walk these people, put them on the stand in front of the jury, and have them testify to whatever they want them to testify? Absolutely.
By the way, I'll say this, you know.
But now they can't because the body cam is released. Look, those body cams show each one of these people are saying, we didn't see the accident.
By the way, it's not a conspiracy anymore to say that Casey Fines is tampering with witnesses, because you actually have body cam from Robert Drum. You have body cam from Rob Davis, who are also talking to witnesses, or alleged witnesses in this case, like Glenn Ford, Tanisha Coleman.
I can't wait to play these body cams for you.
Elizabeth,
I have a list of
Elizabeth
body cams.
Lee, Amy Hodson, Kylie Clapp, the three children. Look, and I'm telling you, it's not a conspiracy when you have body cams where the officer is telling, this is the main investigator, Robert Drum. He's telling Elizabeth Lee, who called him to say, hey, I think I witnessed this accident a little bit. I heard it. I saw it with my peripheral view, whatever the case may be. And he's actively telling this woman that we are getting our ducks in a row before we pull the trigger on the driver, Mustafa. Okay? Now,
not only that,
in what world? Is it okay? By the way, in what world?
She asked this investigator. She tells him, "Is he on drugs? Is he drunk?" He tells her, "We're still checking off some boxes." What do you mean? You have the toxicology that shows no alcohol, no drugs, but you're telling her, "Hey, we're still checking off boxes. We don't know if he's on drugs."
Here's the thing, though.
Do you see what he's doing here?
Why is an investigator who's supposed to be interviewing witnesses to do what? I mean, why would an investigator interview a witness? To extract information. But to actively change the witness statement as you're talking to them, to steer the witness into saying something different than what they initially said, you're actively tampering with witnesses. Rob Davis tells Glenn Ford, hey, man, we need you. We need you to get this guy off the street. Just think of the optics. This is an officer telling a witness.
He's talking to the ex-boyfriend.
He's telling a witness. He's talking to a witness.
Do me a favor. Go over to Exhibit. I want to play that body cam.
So, yeah, before you play it, I just want to say, it's not just Casey Fines. It's Robert Drum. It's Rob Davis. It's Matthew Surdam. I mean, Matthew Surdam is interviewing the driver from the other vehicle, the Suburban driver, on the scene. And then halfway through, he just stops. He stops interviewing her because Casey Fines didn't get to her yet. And then what do we see later on? We see Rob Davis go to her hospital room at Centera, okay? And he's literally promising her shit under the table.
He's telling her, as long as you stick to your story, you have nothing to worry about.
What story, by the way? What story? He's telling her, as long as you stick to your story. What story? You came in to conduct an interview with the driver.
What if I tell you the officer Josie on the scene got rid of a witness? She got rid of a witness. A witness that's telling her the SUV slammed into Mustafa's car.
I mean, I want to see this one. You told me about this one. I think I must have missed it. But for an officer, I mean, they were begging the other guy to put anything down. He says, hey, I didn't see anything.
That is the most disturbing thing you can see. An officer getting rid of a witness.
They're literally begging the guy to say, hey, put anything down, man. He's like, I didn't see the accident. Just put whatever you can down. Put anything you want. That I think he's an off-duty Fairfax officer, and they just want his name on one of the witness statements. Because when they go to trial, they're going to say, we're going to call to the stand a police officer from a whole different county and listen to what he's going to testify to. Even though initially he said, I didn't see anything, but unless you had stolen the files, nobody's going to know that he said, I didn't see anything.
You wouldn't be able to verify.
I mean, now they can't coach him and bring him in to say, there was erratic driving. They were fighting in the car.
By the way, this guy, the reason they got rid of this guy is because they can't get him to testify for them.
I mean, I'd like to see this.
Let's see.
This is what?
Is that your truck?
Okay.
Are you able to pull around?
No, I don't think. You see, sometimes some area you come out, I gotta go straight up, so I have to wait. Anytime you give me way, I'm no tired.
Can you?
3 people gone, man.
If you can get.
You can turn around right there. We can.
Well, he's got to go straight. Can you get through? You go through this shopping center right here. You're right up here. You can come out of this light and go back.
Yeah, for sure. But
I know. Are you afraid of hopping the curb?
Yeah, I'm not afraid about all the mess up.
No, I got you.
You're going to be sitting here for a while then.
Well,
you're not going to be able to go anywhere.
What we can do... Oh, no.
The best thing I can do is to... If I can go like this. Yeah, maybe that one stop. Then
Go straight around there? You mean turn up there?
No, I can. But you see, the combination, if you are making a turn, you always have problem going on the back hazards and
Is that the car hauler?
That's the
pickup with
yes.
with all the cars.
Yeah,
I mean, just keep playing.
Okay.
Keep playing.
It's interesting what he says about Drum. He has an interaction with Drum. I'll tell you. Let's keep watching.
I like making U-turn. Now, right now you're making a big wave. It's up to you. So, you don't know the story what happened? This one hit this one, right?
Do you know what the story? Do you know what happened? The SUV hit that car.
Okay.
Listen.
Why
is his witness statement nowhere in the file?
It's still under investigation, but
still under investigation. Now, well, I'm going to show you another. I'm going to show you another body cam where the guy is telling them, "I didn't see anything." Whatever, even if it's minimal, they're begging him to put a statement, but not this guy because he's telling them something different.
that's kind of what it was looking like.
I'm surprised. You see, all the doors gone, and the baby dropped down.
Because they're like crash.
The baby fall down.
When they want to get them through, they'll get them through. So.
Yeah.
Just hang tight.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah, if you want to sit in your truck and wait, you can, but you're gonna have to sit and wait for a little bit. Okay.
So they don't ask him, do you want to put down a statement?
I mean,
That way you're not standing out
you
here.
heard what he just said, right?
They don't ask him, can you give us a statement?
Watch this. I'm going to show you something that's just going to blow your mind away. As long as you're giving them what they want you to write on paper, they're going to take a statement from you. Watch this guy.
We're gonna. What's up? I don't know if you. We're gonna. Can I get a phone number for you, sir?
Yeah, it's 571.
Talk to her, I thought, but I want to make sure. Talk. Can I get?
There we go.
Hey, do you mind right now what you saw, even if it was minimal?
As far as
Just real quick. Like as far as the crash.
I give it to.
Did you already do one?
Yeah.
Okay, who'd you give it to?
The female up there.
Okay, all right, I appreciate it. We're good then. Thank you.
Do you mind writing a statement? Even if it's minimal. I didn't see anything. Even if it's minimal. But the other guy that says the SUV turned into Mustafa, they don't want a statement
He
from
said
him.
that slammed into this one. You can see the side door is all smashed in.
They don't want to hear from him. They just want to get rid of him.
Selective witnessing.
Selective witnessing. Now,
Selective witnesses.
I want to play what Casey Fine is telling the main investigator on the scene. And you talk about a bias in this case. They've condemned Mustafa guilty the minute these officers showed up. I mean, you have an investigator.
I mean, we have to talk about what Sammy said about Casey Fines. Okay.
I mean, when she said that in court, I was just like, isn't that what I've been saying for 2.5 years?
She said maybe he knows Mustafa from the Stafford County Police. So is she saying that Casey Fines is aware that Mustafa's suing the police? He's aware that he has a giant lawsuit that's worth almost $1 million against the police? That's what she's saying?
I think she is so desperate that this came up in court during the Brady motion.
I mean, was that a slip up or like what was that? I mean she's saying Casey Fines. The reason why Casey Fines is saying that about Mustafa is because he knows Mustafa from Stafford County, the lawsuit.
$500,000. Mustafa was suing the police for $500,000. In 2018, the police entered the house in the middle of the night.
Without a warrant.
Without a warrant. Charge you with assault by mob in your own home.
On your own property.
On your own property. And then turn around and say, oops, we messed up. They drop all the charges and say, we mistakenly came into your house.
By the way, you know why they dismissed the charges after 8 months? They dismissed the charges because, I mean, as you're looking right there, everything's on video.
We have a whole video of the whole
Everything's on video, by the way. You know, when they entered the house there, that camera cuts off. But that video was sent to a cloud. And they thought, by the way, when they went in, they wiped the drive completely empty. When we came back into the house 12 hours later, the hard drive was completely wiped. There was nothing, no footage at all. Okay? But
so they take over the house, delete everything.
They didn't know that somebody outside the house was recording this live as it was happening. So whatever they deleted, I mean, you still see the footage. It was saved to a cloud. And for 8 months, they were trying to figure out, does this family have video of this whole entire incident where this random guy comes onto the property and is alleging that he was assaulted by a mob? I mean, if you're in your own home, if you're sitting at home, you're a family. You're not a mob, okay? For someone to come onto your private property in the middle of the night, okay, and insult you and attempt to assault you and batter you, okay, and then call the cops and say you attacked him falsely. By the way, the guy that came onto the property, he had an active warrant from another county. So that night, he was arrested. And the police, by the way, they put his dad's name instead of him. as if his dad was on the property, not him, because he was arrested that night. He had a warrant. So they had to arrest him. And they put his dad's name as the person that was allegedly on the property. Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's...
So they turn around and say,
by the way, it turns out the guy tows for the police specifically.
That's beautiful.
He works for the police.
Okay, so that's a 2018 incident. Mustafa ends up suing the police. It's a $500,000 lawsuit that dragged on from 2018 all the way to the vehicle accident. It was an ongoing lawsuit.
I mean, the case was dismissed 2 weeks into Mustafa's arrest.
I mean, that's crazy. Okay,
the lawyer withdrew from the case, not dismissed. It was the lawyers withdrew from the case 2 weeks after Mustafa was arrested.
I find it disturbing that prosecutor Sarah Sammy stands in court and tells Judge Weimer, Your Honor, the reason that you have a body cam where an officer, Casey Fine, shows up and tells the main investigator on scene as soon as he shows up that this guy is on drugs is because of the 2018 incident. Wait.
Like, how is that even?
How does that even make sense? So, Brad Hayward wants the communication.
Exactly.
What communication that this officer is telling the main investigator that Mustafa's on drugs? Because we have Mustafa's toxicology. Mustafa's toxicology showed no alcohol, no drugs. But you have an officer that immediately, as soon as the main investigator gets on the scene, he put in a bias. Now the whole entire investigation steered in a direction where the main investigator, Robert Drum, who later falsified Mustafa's statement, says on body cam, wherever the fuck Mustafa goes, I need a blood draw.
By the way,
is that not a bias? I mean, you condemned Mustafa guilty the minute you showed up.
Let me point this out. What's his name? Rob Davis also made a statement on the scene. He said, I didn't know this guy. I didn't know this cat. But now I remember.
You have to let me play that body cam.
We were briefed about him. He said we were briefed about him. So, once again, this bias against Mustafa, from the moment they find out it's Mustafa Aljazairi, from that time, there was a bias. Because clearly, they all condemned him guilty, and they began muting, acting all weird. They were all doing all sorts of, like, shady stuff. They were all texting. They're in group chats.
Do me a favor. Go over to body cam. Go to exhibits.
That communication between Rob Davis, Casey Fines, Robert Drum, Chad Mason, what's his name? Matthew Surdam, Chad Mason, and what's the other one? Some of these other officers. Davis. There was another one. Sean Peake.
Sean Peake.
Okay. It's very relevant what they were all saying to each other. And I guarantee you, they reached out to Sarah Sammy the moment they found out Mustafa Aljazairi was the driver of the Chrysler. The moment they found out, they texted Sarah Sammy because...
What if I show you a body cam that...
because who was after Mustafa?
Casey Fines.
Who was after Mustafa prior to the car accident? None other than Sarah Sammy.
What if I show you a body cam that you have Casey Fines on the phone with somebody? He's got a notepad, and he's taking down Mustafa's name, Dorothy's name, blah, blah, blah.
Duplessis.
Right? Duplessis. And
Officer
he says,
Duplessis.
And then as soon as he gets on scene, he says this to the main investigator. Let me play this body cam for you. There we go.
Where he says, I got his name, I got the girlfriend's name, the children.
This is crazy. I mean...
And then Chad Mason later that night, actually on the scene while they're searching the car, admits that patrol was following Mustafa.
Why? Does it have anything to do with Mustafa's lawsuit?
And does following him the night prior, following him around, patrol following him around and monitoring him, does that have anything to do with the bias on the scene and the way this narrative began the moment they found out it was Mustafa?
I've got a body cam that investigator Robert Drum condemns Mustafa guilty because of what Casey Fine is telling him. Do me a favor, go over to exhibit. I want to play this.
We're gonna get a few people through here if it's cool with you, just to get them out of here.
You know, I also want to mention something about the scene. The preservation of the scene.
Yeah.
No, after you're done with this.
All right.
Alright, SUV. So apparently, I think the kid's dead. The mom died.
He said kid is still alive.
Okay. He's telling me that guy is probably drug related. I need a blood draw and doctor. But anybody see exactly what happened?
This lady right here and this gentleman right here, they're both making written statements. I got all their info. This guy says that. Hold on 1 second. The Suburban is going eastbound in the straight lane. Chrysler is coming westbound in the straight lane and then just veers over into oncoming traffic and just hits her. He says he thinks the Chrysler's going about 50. They were going about 50, 55. And just head on. Yep.
Robert Drum, the main investigator, says he's telling me that this guy is on drugs. It's his fault. So he already condemned Mustafa guilty. You haven't reconstructed the accident. You haven't looked at the computer inside the car. You haven't looked at the dash camera in Mustafa's vehicle. You've already condemned Mustafa guilty the minute you showed up because Casey Fine is telling you he put a title on Mustafa. Let me show you a body cam. This is what Casey Fine is doing.
He put a label on him.
Put a label on him. He tell him this guy is drug related. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Mustafa's toxicology show no alcohol, no drugs. You show up and you put a label on Mustafa, and now the main investigator on another body cam says, wherever the fuck Mustafa goes, I need a blood draw. Let me show you this body cam.
Go ahead.
45, 20, that'll be 3. I'm already here. And then Mason and Wilhelm are on their way.
All right, sir.
By the way, that's Mustafa. Right there. Right there is Mustafa. That's Mustafa. Laying in front of his vehicle, in and out of consciousness. And at one point, he goes into a coma, and he gets helicoptered to the hospital.
And he's being set up. He's being set up as he's laying there.
You lose your girlfriend. You lose the baby. You lost your family in a car accident. You're laying in front of your vehicle, fighting for your life. You're in and out of consciousness, and then you go into a coma, and you have an officer that's doing this.
On their way.
All right, sir.
Take pictures while you do anything else.
No, we'll figure out where the bodies are going in a minute. Witnesses, anybody say what happened?
Yeah, there's a lady right over here in the black. She saw everything.
Okay.
I believe. This car is the at fault. This is the driver of that vehicle.
Okay. Thank you.
He said, there's a lady right there in the black. She saw everything. Oh, which witness? The one you talked to? The one you made the one you're making a case for? It's up to you.
By the way,
to get justice.
If he's saying that lady saw everything, where is his body cam when he first made contact with that lady? Where's his body cam? Where's Casey Fine's body cam when he first made contact with that lady? I mean, why is his body cam, the one that we do have, is all muted? Okay, you look at the police report. He claims, Casey Fines claims, that his entire role in this whole entire ordeal was to direct traffic. And that's a fucking lie.
That's a lie. You have a body cam where
that's
he's
a flat out lie. Okay?
Listen to this. I'm going to continue where he says he puts that label on Mustafa.
Go ahead.
So, at fault so far. Crossed over when oncoming traffic?
I'm not 100% sure. Knowing him, though, it's probably drug related.
Okay.
And he's laughing.
What?
I mean,
Like,
you're in and out of you're laying in front of your vehicle. You're laying in front of your vehicle.
Let me sit up. Go back. Yeah, right there.
I mean, why are you laughing?
When he's here, pause it. Go forward, right there. Go forward a little bit, right there, and snapshot it. Okay. I think you missed it. Right there. Not that one. Okay, right there. Zoom in on it. Just zoom in on his face. Okay. Okay. You want to tell us a woman and a child are allegedly at this point, they think they're deceased, right? And this guy is laughing, smirking with his tongue in his cheek, talking about this guy over here, knowing this guy, though, is drug related. Why are you fucking laughing? Why are you laughing? If you're saying that a mother and child were just announced deceased on the scene, and the guy is fighting for his life, you're going to point at him and saying, knowing this guy, he's drug related. By the way, I'll tell you, his body cam was muted here. He didn't know that Robert Drum's body cam was still recording audio.
Absolutely. It's captured from other body cams.
So if you didn't have Robert Drum's body cam on audio, still recording audio, you wouldn't know what he's saying. Okay? You would not know what this guy is telling Robert Drum. Okay? And this is why it's so important to get this fucking loser's communication with any other officer, including Duplessis. Okay? I mean, what did his... I can only imagine what him and Duplessis were talking about after he made that statement. And it probably sounds something like this. Hey, you know that guy that's suing the police? He just got in a tragic car accident. His girlfriend and daughter died. And I'm going around telling all the witnesses to say that they saw him do it on purpose, that he was fighting with his girlfriend. That's what I'm going around telling everybody. And I'm trying to get to every single witness before they write their statement.
I mean, if he's still in the main, if he's still in the main investigator, if he's telling the main investigator that this guy is on drugs, you don't think he's going around telling the witnesses?
By the way, that's why Sarah Sammy says it's dangerous, Your Honor.
Absolutely.
It's dangerous to release the police communications.
Because she's being notified every step of the way. I have body cams and document that show that she's being notified every step of the way.
I mean,
she wants to tell the judge that she doesn't know anything about what's going on the scene with her police officer, what her police officer are doing. She's being notified. I've got body cam that show that she is being updated and notified. She's instructing these police officers on what to do and how to falsify this case.
I guarantee you one of these officers contacted Sarah Sammy and told her, hey, you know that guy that you hate, the guy that's suing the police? Well, this is your opportunity to get him. This is your opportunity.
Listen how they talk about Mustafa. Do me a favor, go over to exhibit. Casey Fine gets on the scene with another officer, and he takes out his pamphlet, and he's like, I contacted Duplessis. Yeah, notepad. And he's like, I contacted Duplessis in patrol, and they've been watching him.
And he got Dorothy's name.
He's got Dorothy's name. He's got the kids. And then the other guy's like, his name is Mustafa. Mustafa. I mean, come on, man. Let's watch.
I don't know if he's going to make it through there. We should have just flipped him around. Yeah? You don't remember his name?
Mustafa is his name.
Mustafa.
I called Duplessis. I got his name, mom's name, and kid's name. It's just the difference.
Look at Fontaine. I don't know if he's going to make it through.
Duplessis. I got his name.
Yeah? You don't remember his name?
Mustafa is his name.
Mustafa.
I called Duplessis. I got his name, mom's name, and kid's name. Just the difference.
Yeah, pause it. Wait a second. I thought he said his role was to direct traffic.
Direct traffic? What do you mean?
By the way,
I have another body cam?
His section is like this small.
He's
on the whole police, this entire discovery report.
So if he didn't have the body cams, you would think that Casey Fine is not involved in this whole entire case. The only thing he did is direct traffic.
Yeah.
When he's sitting there manipulating witnesses and weaponizing them against Mustafa.
He's tampering with witnesses on the scene in real time.
I mean, this is the
in
problem.
real time.
This is the problem for Prosecutor Sarah Sammy. This is the real problem. You have an officer that's manipulating witnesses. They were going to walk these people in because they told them and convinced them that a mother and a child is dead because of this guy. Don't worry about him don't worry about him in and out of consciousness in front of his vehicle. Don't worry about the guy that just went into a coma. The guy that's on the floor in front of his vehicle. Because of him, a mother and a daughter died.
Yeah, they
convinced him. They convinced him that he's on drugs. They convinced him. So they were going to, I mean, these people are not going to look at the toxicology report. They're not going to see the toxicology report. You have a police officer telling them that this guy is on drugs. A mother and a daughter died. Now you've got these people that are going to walk in and they're going to say whatever the police want them to say in front of the jury. But now you have body cams that's leaked on the internet that show initially what they said. We didn't see anything. Each one of these witnesses say we didn't see the accident. You have
again. That's why Sarah Sammy and the police's communication is exculpatory in this case. It's all exculpatory. It's
by law they have to release.
It has to be released. What this officer said to the prosecutor, what they were texting each other, what they were telling each other, and they thought it wasn't going to come out. All that has to be released. All of it.
This is a body cam where Officer Rob...
they're on group chats. You see that they're on group chats. And Matthew Surdam is actively updating as things are happening. Not only that, but if you watch Matthew Surdam's body cam at the hospital, it's almost like he's hesitating sometimes with his body cam. He's like, should I capture this? Should I not capture? Should I capture it? Or should I not capture it? Like, he's hesitating. He's going back and forth. You can clearly see he's so paranoid about what his body cam is going to capture that his finger is constantly on the button. It's on the little trigger for mute and unmute.
When you have the same investigator Chad Mason, who admitted to cutting and muting Mustafa's dash camera, tell this officer, I need you to make sure your camera is off for all of it. He's telling him to turn off his body cam.
It's crazy. You just watch Matthew Surdam's body cam at the hospital. Okay, you're going to think this guy's like having a seizure or something. He keeps going back and forth with his body cam. He's like, every time Mustafa says something to him, he's wondering, like, is this good for the narrative? Is it not? I don't know. Like, should I mute? Should I not mute? Is this something that I want to capture or not? And he's constantly on the trigger, on the mute button.
I find officers doing that when they're interacting with Casey Fines. Every time they see Casey Fines, they immediately mute.
Why?
Let me show you.
Why are they constantly muting with Casey Fines? And I'll tell you why. Because his job on the scene was to tamper with witnesses.
The fact that Officer Josie got rid of a witness, that he's telling her the SUV slammed into Mustafa.
And she's not interested in that.
She's not interested. Oh, by the way, not only her, the other officer is also not interested. But
sir, it's still under investigation.
Still under investigation.
Don't worry about it.
Where is his witness statement? You've got them asking a witness that says, I didn't see anything. Even if it's minimal, just write anything down. But this guy, you're not interested.
I'm telling you, that guy, they really wanted anything from him is because he's a Fairfax County police officer. And when they take it to trial, they're going to coach this guy on what to say on the stand. And again, if you hadn't stolen these body cams, this guy he could come into trial and say whatever the fuck he wants to say, and nobody's going to impeach his statement. But the fact that his body cam is out now, the fact that all these witnesses' statements are out, they're all saying we didn't see it. So what are you going to bring them in to say what? What exactly are they going to come in? They're going to come in and say, we didn't see it. I didn't see it. I heard it, but I didn't see it.
I'll tell you, I go back to Prosecutor Sarah Sammy when she told Judge Carol Weimer about Casey Fines. And she tells him, Your Honor, it has to do with the Stafford incident, Mustafa's lawsuit.
What about Stafford?
Wait a minute. So I have a body cam that I have Officer Rob, as soon as he got on scene, he's talking about being briefed about Mustafa.
Briefed about Mustafa prior to the accident. He was briefed about Mustafa.
This is so disturbing. You want to tell me there's no bias here? You've condemned Mustafa guilty the minute you showed up.
And by the way, he mutes right there.
He mutes.
Why did you mute? Again, why did you mute when you're talking about what you've learned about Mustafa prior to the accident? Why did you mute? What is so significant here that you thought no one should listen to it? No one should know what you're telling your fellow officer about Mustafa.
So Mustafa gets in a car accident, and you've got officers already briefed about Mustafa. Do me a favor, go over to
by the way, if he was briefed, Where is that information? That's exculpatory information.
It's not in the file that's uploaded to the server.
What kind of briefing did the Prince William County Police have with their top? I mean, this is a sergeant, lieutenant, whatever he is. He's a high-ranking officer, okay? And if he's being briefed about an individual, a United States citizen, who's not charged at the time with any crime, okay? We're entitled to know what he's being briefed about him. Why is the Prince William County Police briefing officers about a guy suing the police? What was in that briefing, okay? And that's exculpatory evidence.
Well, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy tells Judge Weimer that it's dangerous to release that information to Mustafa's lawyer.
Yeah, of course, because in the briefing, they're probably targeting Mustafa. They're targeting him for every little thing. They're watching him. They're keeping tabs on him. Clearly, Duplessis was assigned Mustafa. He was assigned to spy on Mustafa. Okay? Clearly, from Casey Fines, he's telling the other officer, I talked to Duplessis. I got his name, his girlfriend, the kids. What the fuck? Why are you following a U.S. citizen who's not being charged with a crime? I didn't know this was a police state. Are you spying on certain citizens?
And then he gets in a car accident.
They're spying on certain citizens?
And then he gets in a car accident. The minute you show up, he's guilty.
You've
condemned him guilty.
This reminds me of that statement that is on the news now, like daily I hear it. How does it go? Show me the man, and I'll show you the crime, and I'll give you the crime. Show me the man, and I'll give you the crime. I think that's how it goes.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Do me a favor. Go over to exhibit. I want to play.
They found Mustafa, and now they have to work around to find the crime to stick on him. DUI didn't work because clearly you can't falsify his blood records. Okay. He tested negative for drugs and alcohol. So what do? Let's move on to the next step. What is the next step? Let's say he was fighting with Dorothy. Dash cam comes out. Oh shit, we can't do that either because the dash cam clearly shows there's no argument. What do? Let's abuse the children and coach them and teach them how to say this guy was abusing us. I mean,
and then the Google Nest videos inside the apartment comes out. And it shows it's a beautiful relationship. So now they're terrified. Look, they don't know what to do.
Drum wrote in his warrant, in his affidavit, he said Mustafa had a history of abuse towards the children. Okay? The key word here is history. There's a history of abuse with Dorothy's children. Now, I would like to know if there is a history, like Robert Drum's sworn oath, he swore to tell the truth. This is a sworn affidavit for the warrant. He says Mustafa had a history with abusing the children.
What do you mean? We have the Google Nest videos inside the apartment.
No. There's 809 pages of police reports, discovery material, incident reports. Why is it that out of 809 pages,
it's not there?
There's not a single word. I'm not going to say page. I'm going to say word. Not a single word about Mustafa being accused or allegedly abusing any child. Why is there no incident report?
Because they made it up.
There's no incident.
They made it up. They falsified the warrant.
So Robert Drum openly falsifies an affidavit to a magistrate. Now, Magistrate Walker, okay? Magistrate Walker, when you're reading this sworn affidavit, you're not asking for supporting documents. When Officer Drum is telling you, hey, this guy should be arrested, we're taking away his freedom, okay? And I'm swearing that he has a history of abuse towards these kids. Why is the magistrate not asking for any supporting document? I mean, the magistrate, all she has to do is put Mustafa's name in the system. To pull it up, see, was there any incident of abuse with the kids? And there is nothing, zero. There's not even arguments. There's not even incidents between Mustafa and Dorothy. So how can Robert Drum falsify the affidavit to the warrant? How can they hold Mustafa in jail based on that falsified narrative, based on that falsified statement?
I think this body cam says it all. When you have Officer Rob comes up to investigator to the main investigator, and he tells him, "I've been briefed about Mustafa." Do me a favor, go over to exhibit. Let's play this body cam.
Hey, I talked to Grantham on the other one, and he said that it looked like. So we're good. We're good.
Sorry.
Everything's
We'll call you next time.
Hey, can I be honest with you? I don't even know. I don't even know that tap. I do now. I remember now that it was brought up.
That's sermon.
Did you hear what they said? I'm gonna rewind it just a little bit.
I do now. I remember. I don't even know. I don't even know that tap. I do now. I remember now that it was brought up.
I didn't even. I know now. He's been briefed about Mustafa.
That he was brought up.
I'm gonna play it one more time.
I don't even know. I don't even know that. I don't even know. I don't even know that tap. I do now. I remember now that it was brought up.
I didn't even know this cat, but I remember now he was brought up.
Okay, so
by the way, I've got another body cam where he says where Robert Drum is waiting and everybody's waiting on a body cam, and they said Rob is here. He's about to brief us about Mustafa, and then they mute.
I mean, that's
what
crazy.
briefing? What have you been briefed about Mustafa?
And not only that, but this is Rob's sermon. The same officer, when Mustafa's vehicle was being inspected, Rob Davis asks him, he says, "Did you do anything inappropriate to the car?" And he says, "Yeah." Rob Davis replies, "I have an idea about this case that we should employ, but it's going to take spending money."
So you've got officers pumping money into the Mustafa Aljazairi case.
I mean,
and it's captured on body cam.
It's no longer a conspiracy.
So how is Mustafa's defense not entitled to that officer's communication when he's openly talking about pumping money into the Mustafa Aljazairi case?
They're actively talking about falsifying, tampering with his case, tampering with witnesses, destroying evidence. I mean, clearly they've destroyed his car. They've destroyed his dash camera. Clearly.
Let's play the body cam. I want to play the two body cams where they're talking about pumping money into the Mustafa Aljazairi case, spending money out of their pocket. And
I just want to say this about the scene that I noticed watching these body cams.
Yeah.
And that is that you notice how they claim in the report, when you read the report, the black and white report, okay, when you read it, you would think that they're really, really preserving this scene, because I think there was a red pickup truck that drove through the cones and they gave him a reckless driving ticket because because they allege, by the way, the key point here is this was when it was dark. Okay, when it was dark, by the way, Robert Drum alleges that a red pickup drove through the cones and drove right through the scene. And because this person drove through an active scene that they were investigating, they gave him a reckless driving ticket, that driver. Okay?
They're so careful with preserving the scene.
They're trying to say they're so careful with the scene that, and this was.
What do you mean? I have body cams.
It's already dark.
They're letting vehicles through the scene. They're letting the fire truck through the scene. I mean, what part of preserve the scene happened in this case?
Look, it's already dark when this pickup truck, this red pickup, goes through the scene. Now, why is it that when it was still light, it was still daylight, they allowed that car hauler to drive right through the middle of the scene? And not only that, but you see Chad Mason sweeping up the road. He's sweeping the road prior to scanning the road. I thought they were going to scan the road. They were going to recreate this accident. That he had his Leica scanner, that he was going to scan the road. You have Chad Mason cleaning up the road, the debris, before they even scanned the vehicles.
I'm trying to find it for you. I'm see if I can find it.
He's in there sweeping up the road. He's sweeping all the debris off the road. They're allowing a pickup truck that's a car hauler to drive right through the middle. Okay? And then they want to give this guy a ticket, this red pickup truck. Later in the evening, they want to give him a ticket, acting like they're preserving the scene. I mean, what kind of BS are you talking about here? Okay, and I'll tell you, the reason why Chad Mason's already sweeping up the road, the reason why they allowed that car hauler to drive right through the middle is because they already had their narrative figured out.
I mean,
He was
you
already condemned guilty.
You heard Robert Drum. The minute he showed up, he said he's at fault.
Exactly.
This guy is telling me he's on drugs. He's at fault. You haven't inspected the vehicle. You haven't inspected the scene. You haven't looked at the computer inside the vehicle. You haven't looked at his dash camera. He's got a dash camera.
You haven't even scanned the cars. You haven't even scanned the vehicle with your Leica scanner, your $1 million equipment. You haven't even scanned it. Okay?
I mean,
because you've already condemned him
you
guilty.
You talk about the $1 million scanner. I find it interesting that the Leica scan is not in the file, and what you find in the file is a drawing.
A drawing.
You want to tell me that the county gave you $1 million equipment? I mean, you should hear
$1 million piece of equipment only for you to draw.
You should hear. I've got a body cam where Robert Drum is talking about this equipment that the county gave him and how sophisticated it is and how it takes $1 million piece of I mean, it takes like $1 million picture of the scene that it measures everything, and you've got a fucking drawing in the file.
He draws a square.
I mean,
for car 1.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. When this, you're trying to pass off this as the Leica scan. Do me a favor, go over to exhibit. This is, Robert Drum wants to tell us that the $1 million equipment that the county gave him, the Leica scan.
This is the results.
This is the results.
Let me make that full screen so that people can actually see it.
Oh, wait a minute. The file is sealed. No one can verify it except Judge Carol Weimer, who's fucking protecting the police department and this prosecutor.
You're telling me
Get the fuck out of here.
$1 million equipment.
Get the fuck out of here. This is the Leica scan? A drawing?
And it says right there on top, Leica scan.
I mean, when we find out, when we finally got to hire an independent expert, there's a judge order in place to reconstruct the accident. The independent expert gets on scene and is being told by Robert Drum, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy said, you cannot touch the vehicle. You cannot reconstruct the accident. Why not? What is this prosecutor so terrified till we get that we're going to reconstruct this accident? She blocks the reconstruction 2.5 years ago. Judge Carol Weimer, there's a judge order to reconstruct the accident. But you've got a body cam where the independent expert is being blocked. I mean, I find it really interesting that when we had an independent expert, the only thing the independent expert did when he showed up is he scanned it with his Faro machine, the Leica scan. So wait a minute. The Faro machine.
He used the other equipment.
He used the other equipment, the Faro machine. So wait a minute. What is so significant here? You can't touch the vehicle, but you can scan it. Wait a minute. When you find out that Investigator Davis is talking about on a body cam that we had the fire department crush the vehicle for us.
They staged the car.
They staged the fucking car. They removed the original Leica scan only to put this fucking drawing, and then they bring in this independent expert to rescan the crushed car. I've got a body cam where they talk about crushing the car, only for Investigator Chad Mason to get on the stand and testify to Judge Carol Weimer, Your Honor, Mustafa maneuvered the vehicle
and caused the damage.
That his vehicle was struck by the SUV specifically where his girlfriend sits, specifically where the 5-year-old baby that sits behind her, and he used specific language. He said the B pillar. Mustafa had his vehicle crushed by the SUV
at the B pillar.
At the B pillar. Wait a minute. What if I play you a body cam? The Investigator Davis says we crushed the B pillar.
I mean, that's crazy.
Do me a favor, go over to exhibits.
Unbelievable.
I mean, if I didn't have the body cam, you would tell me, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, what kind of conspiracies are you raising here?
And now you're surprised that the government is pumping $100,000 into this case, that Mustafa has a new lawyer, because the case is leaked. This case was supposed to be, Mustafa was supposed to be in trial in December, back in December. But now you've got a lawyer, you've got $100,000 to investigate. I mean, I find it really disturbing that Judge Weimer can sit there and listen to Mustafa's defense about reconstructing the car accident when there is a judge order that was supposed to reconstruct this accident 2.5 years ago.
There was already an order.
Do me a favor, go over to exhibit. Let's play the body cam.
We also, well, the other thing too that I forgot to tell you, we put this could have taken this into account. The fire department cut the top off for us. They also rolled the steering wheel forward so we could get the box out. So they had their big hydraulic, thing set up right, like where the B pillar would be, pushing the front forward. So I guess that could that have caused the lengthening of the car per se?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So he's admitted.
I actually didn't even think about that until just now.
He said the B pillar.
And by the way, why are you holding the mechanic's hand here, and you're trying to guide him into doing his job as if you're?
Let the mechanic do his job. Let the mechanic inspect the vehicle.
They won't let him.
I mean, by the way,
he has to put in a specific narrative.
This is the police mechanic. He just found brake failure. I mean, the computer inside Mustafa's vehicle show that Mustafa's foot is on the brakes the whole entire time. But there's brake failure. And now you're telling the police mechanic what exactly? We had the fire department crush the B pillar.
It's almost like they're trying to justify why there's certain damage. Don't say this damage was here before. Don't say that there was something wrong with the car. We did that.
I mean,
it's like it's a double-edged sword. You're going to admit to damaging the car in order for you to coerce this mechanic into saying something other than his natural findings.
I mean, this is the car after the accident at the scene. To get the ACM is right there. I mean, this vehicle is not crushed in. You can get the ACM. The ACM is right there.
Exactly. All you have to do is lift up the plastic piece where the shifter is, and it's just sitting right there.
So
it's like a 2-minute job.
So Investigator Davis is telling a police mechanic that we had the fire department cut the roof, cut the B pillar, crush the B pillar to get the ACM. Why? You have access to the ACM. I mean, this is the vehicle inside the police department, and this is what they're doing to it. This is the car before they start cutting it. You had access to the ACM.
Look at the car; it's perfectly square.
This is the ACM is right there.
What are they trying? They're trying to say that the car was caved in. I don't see the car caved in. Look at how much space is in between the driver's seat and the dash. Why do you have to roll the dash as you claim you had to roll the dash? Does that not look like a perfect square? I mean, where you're saying the dash, it's like they're trying to say that the steering wheel is so smashed into the seat that they had to cut the roof and elongate the car. Bullshit.
Why are they cutting the roof?
They're staging the car. They're staging it.
Look at what they're doing. I mean, they're cutting the roof, and then they're cutting into the fucking car. The B pillar is right there.
Why are they chopping the interior of the car?
By the way, the damage is, you see the damage right here. It's to the back portion of the car.
From the accident.
From the accident. Mustafa cleared all the vehicles. You see this?
I mean, you can actually see the indentation from the Suburban's tire into the rear passenger side.
Mustafa clears the SUV, clears all the vehicle, makes it to the 4th lane, and the SUV turns into Mustafa, turns into the 4th lane. I have a witness that says that. The radiator flush is in the 4th lane. The witness is talking about that Mustafa, by the way, one of the witnesses on scene is saying that Mustafa cleared the vehicle and the SUV. She slammed into him. She turned into him.
I mean, that's what Robert Drum says too.
I mean, look,
Robert Drum literally says the same thing. The only way this accident could make sense, she must have turned into him.
Muhammad, this is Mustafa's side. This is Mustafa's side. Okay. So this is the side, right? Chad
you
Mason,
mean the passenger side?
The passenger side. Chad Mason got on the stand and he said, the SUV crushed this side. This is the B pillar.
How is that
the B
possible?
pillar. The B pillar is Mustafa's girlfriend, the front passenger. Okay? We just heard Investigator Davis say that we had the fire department crush the B pillar.
He's saying she crushed. He's saying that Mustafa had this crushed.
That's
It's
not
bullshit.
true.
It's
That's
not.
not true. I mean, I'll show you a better picture. Let's see if I have a better picture. I've got a body cam.
I mean, going back to this drawing really quick.
Yeah.
This Leica scanner. You want no? Keep going. Keep looking for what you're looking for. But you want to tell me $1 million piece of equipment, and nowhere in this entire report do we have the steering angle from the Suburban? Nowhere.
That's crazy.
With $1 million piece of equipment.
They're hiding the steering angle
No
from the
steering angle?
SUV and Mustafa.
No steering angle?
2.5 years.
No steering angle? $1 million piece of equipment? And you had the most basic piece of information. Speed, braking, gas, brake, steering angle. Those are the three most crucial pieces, the most basic pieces of information. Okay? And it's missing.
Do me a favor, go over to exhibit. Robert Drum on body cam. Exactly. Why is the steering angle missing?
Why is it missing? You have $1 million piece of equipment. You have all the access in the world.
I'll tell you why it's missing, because here, when we had the independent expert get on the scene, there's a judge order to reconstruct the accident. Listen to what Robert Drum tells the independent experts
They don't even
that we paid for.
They don't even want him.
By the way, we paid for.
They don't want him obtaining the original data from the computers. They say, take our PDF that we already extracted and excluded the steering angle from. They don't want him scanning the original box that they got out of the car. The original computer, they don't want him scanning it. They want to give
the
them their
steering
own
angle. The steering angle is going to show that the SUV turned
right.
into Mustafa.
She turned right.
You know how simple to get to the bottom of this case?
Very simple.
I mean,
Extremely
and
simple.
the real question is,
Why?
2.5 years ago, there's a judge order, and on body cam, you hear the investigator, Robert Drum, that falsified Mustafa's statement, is telling the independent expert that prosecutor Sarah Sammy, who today tells the judge it's dangerous to release the communication, her communication is dangerous. Does it have anything to do with you instructing officers to falsify this case?
To exclude the steering angle?
I mean, listen to what they're talking about on body cam. He says, prosecutor Sarah Sammy said, you cannot reconstruct this vehicle accident. Why are you telling the independent expert that he can't touch the car? How is he going to
specifically when a judge ordered the car be inspected at the time?
I mean, do me a favor, go over to exhibits. She said you cannot touch the car. How is he going to reconstruct the accident?
We want that communication. It's exculpatory. Why did you instruct your officers not to allow the expert to examine the car after a judge granted that order? Why?
Which one is it?
What's that?
Which one is
It's
it?
in the
I mean,
box.
what were the conditions?
Per my
For you
conversation
to
with
say
Sarah.
no one's touching the car. What were the conditions for you to say to an officer, the expert is not examining the car. He's not allowed to touch it. Why? I mean, you had to give a reason to the officer. And under Brady versus Maryland, the defense is entitled to it.
By law,
they're entitled to it.
By law, Mustafa's defense attorney is entitled to the communication.
Exactly.
Which one is it?
What's that?
Which one is
It's
it?
in the box. Per my conversation with Sarah, so this is the first time I've ever done this in 18 years. She said we can pull it out for you.
Yeah.
You can look at it. She doesn't want anybody touching it.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. She doesn't
Why?
want anybody touching it. Not the courts, not Amy Ashworth, not the judge. She doesn't want anybody touching it.
So wait a minute.
Why?
So wait a minute. The prosecutor is scared to reconstruct the accident. Why? What do you know about this case that you're terrified that it's going to come out?
And then she tells the judge.
But you've got the guy that you're saying is guilty in solitary confinement screaming, telling you, reconstruct my car.
And by the way, I find it really
does
funny.
that make sense to
I
you?
find it really funny that he says she doesn't want anybody touching the car, right? But in court, she tells the judge that she's going to bring her experts along so that they can also examine what the lawyer is looking for. We have you on video telling an officer you don't want anybody touching the car. Now, all of a sudden, you're interested. All of a sudden, you want to bring in your own investigators too? Where have you been for the past 2.5 fucking years?
Do me a favor.
Where have you been?
Do me a favor. Go over to exhibits. This is what Robert Drum is talking about the vehicle. He's talking about where the damage is in the vehicle. So the SUV turns into the fourth lane, and specifically, let's play the body cam.
So you almost see the perfect imprint from the Suburban. Well, most cars are designed for crash damage to go from front to back.
So this is so where you see the damages.
What did he just say? It's crazy to see the damage go from front to back.
Okay, well, let's play it.
Is that what he just said?
Well,
Yeah, play it.
so you almost see the perfect imprint from the Suburban.
Did you hear what he just said? The perfect imprint from the Suburban.
And he's pointing towards the back.
I'm gonna.
He's
zoom
pointing
in.
towards the back.
Yeah. This is where the damage is. This is Mustafa's car. Okay. This is what. That's what he's talking about. You see right there?
That's her right wheel. Where her
You see right there?
her right wheel make contact.
Right there. That's the Suburban when the Suburban turned into the fourth lane and struck Mustafa's car. Chad Mason got on the stand and he said the SUV hit the car right here.
Move that mark real quick. Let me see. Zoom in on that. The passenger side.
Investigator Davis.
I mean, I'm looking. First of all, I'm looking at this car, and I'm thinking like, what the fuck is left of this car? What is left of it? Like, I mean, literally,
Investigator
what is
Davis.
left of this car? You know, when Chief Newsham, after the jail board meeting, that one day when he says that's not the same car, that's what he's talking about. That doesn't even look like the same car. I mean, let's be real.
What did Investigator Davis? I'll go back to what Investigator Davis said.
Like, what happened to preserving the evidence?
I mean, listen to what Investigator Davis is talking about. This is what Investigator Davis is telling the police mechanic.
I mean, just
that we had the fire department crush the B pillar for us.
Just put that side by side.
They removed the Leica scan. I mean, listen to what they're doing here. Robert Drum removed the Leica scan, the original scan of the vehicle that's going to show you exactly where the vehicle was impacted from.
Exactly.
They remove that Leica scan. They bring in the fire department, chop up the vehicle, crush the B-pillar, crush Dorothy's sides.
And then they tell Casey Stevens, bring in an expert to scan the car after we fucked it up. We want to use that
You can't touch
data.
the car. The independent expert can't touch the car, but he can scan it.
He can scan it, but he can't touch it.
So what are you doing here? I mean, you want to tell us that Mustafa had his vehicle crushed by the SUV, that his girlfriend was crushed by the SUV? When you crushed that part, Mustafa cleared the SUV, and now you're deleting that scan that's going to show.
Snapshot this?
I mean,
snapshot it. Okay, go back to that video. No, go back to that video.
Which video?
This one. And snapshot that. Can you put them side by side?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, you can remove all this.
Okay.
Up to here.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I heard your podcast from Monday. Okay.
I think the whole county heard the podcast.
You're making the point that Casey Fines and those officers are actively tampering with witnesses. Okay, they're actively tampering with witnesses to ensure that whatever these witnesses say, it has to match the narrative that they're putting about Mustafa. Okay, they have to get this guy off the road one way or another. They have to get him off the road.
That's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. Okay. No, can you put it on the same frame?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
Let me see if I can do that.
I mean, you talk about tampering with witnesses, abusing children, tampering with children's statements, okay, giving them false information only to extract a different response, a negative response about Mustafa, okay, tampering with his dash camera that he installed for his protection.
Chad Mason already admitted to it.
And then going even further and taking his car and fucking putting it through a grinder. Okay? I mean, grinding the shit out of his car. Okay? And you want to now charge him with murder.
I mean, if you didn't have these body cams, there's no way you can verify what you're talking about.
It's unbelievable. You want to exclude very important information from the data recorder, like the steering angle, okay? You want to exclude key information that show the SUV driver, that's perfect. The SUV driver turned into Mustafa. I mean, look, I don't give a fuck what part of the world you're from, okay? What justice system you're living under, but I'm going to put this up on the screen. I mean, that is unfucking acceptable. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. There's no way in hell any justice system in any country is going to allow that to take place. I don't care what kind of rules you have, whether you have a dictator, whether you have a fascist system, okay? There's no way a judge can look at that and say, yeah, that's a fair trial. You just fucking put his car through a grinder. You ground the shit out of his car. You chopped it up.
Not only that, they're removing the Leica scan. The scan that's supposed to tell you where the damage is. The scan, this vehicle was scanned at the scene. They remove it only to have the independent expert rescan the staged vehicle.
Look, I'm going to Google this real quick.
And they tell you this is the Leica scan. I mean, this is where it gets really weird. That $1 million scan that the county gave this investigator, and he wants to tell you a drawing, a hand drawing is a scan, a Leica scan.
Look, I'm asking Google, okay? I'm asking Google, what is the obligation to preserve evidence? Okay, I'm going to read you a general description of the obligation to preserve evidence. I mean, you want to take this man to trial, right?
His dash camera is cut and muted. The officer already admitted. Chad Mason already admitted to it. I have the transcript.
I mean, look at that.
The vehicle is crushed and staged.
How do you zoom this in?
I can have it zoom in.
Like, you're going to take this picture, okay? You're going to take these photos, and you're going to show the jury. You're going to tell the jury.
That's what they were going to do.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is what Mustafa did to his vehicle. This is what he did to Dorothy and Empress. That's what you're going to tell the jury. This is the car that this man that you see in front of you, this is what he did to the car on purpose. You're not going to show them, you're not going to show them the actual car. You're not going to show them that. I mean, why else would you chop up the car? You're telling me that you did all of this. You did all of that just to extract that little box from underneath the shifter? Get the fuck out of here. There's no way. He tells you my brakes didn't work. And you go and do that to the car? I mean, you do that to the car the moment he tells you my brakes didn't work? Instead of preserving the car, saying, hey, nobody touched this car because the guy's saying my brakes didn't work. So let's not touch the car so that he can't say we did that to the car. Okay? I mean,
I have a body cam in the hospital.
What a sloppy job. This Prince. I mean, they suck at corruption. I'll tell you right now, they suck really bad at corruption. I mean, if you're gonna tamper with his car, you're gonna go in, maybe like I don't know, cut a brake line, remove a screw here, remove a screw there, right? But to put his whole entire car through a crusher.
Well, in their defense, Muhammad, in their defense, the file is sealed. you wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, of
you
course it
you
is.
wouldn't. You wouldn't be. You can't sit here. You wouldn't be able to sit here and say that if the file wasn't leaked on the internet.
Exactly.
I mean, they were so comfortable that the file is sealed.
Look,
that they're chopping up the vehicle.
Where's that picture?
Cutting and muting the dash camera, falsifying his statements, weaponizing the children. The file is sealed.
Exactly.
And
So
who sealed it? The Commonwealth Attorney, Amy Ashworth.
So they're going to bring him to
and
trial.
now it's dangerous to release the communication between her and the police officer. Of course it's dangerous.
They're going to bring him
It's
to
dangerous
trial.
because it's gonna show that you instructed these police officers to falsify this whole entire case.
Look, they're going to bring him to trial. And if you had not stolen this file, they would have told the jury, look at what this monster did to his family. Just look at that picture. This is what he did to his family. And by the way, you have no way of verifying. I have no way of verifying. Mustafa, who sits in solitary confinement, has no way of verifying that his car actually looked like that after the accident. That his car was T-boned from the rear quarter panel. Okay? But they want to tell everybody, look at what this monster did. Look at the destruction. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, what is the justification? What is the justification for doing that? What is the justification? I can't understand it. You have an obligation to preserve evidence. A judge signed off an order that everything needs to be preserved in this case. Every piece of evidence is to be preserved.
On the next podcast, I'm going to play an audio recording from a bond motion where Prosecutor Sarah Sammy put Officer Chad Mason on the stand to testify that Mustafa had his vehicle crushed by the SUV, specifically at the B-pillar. And then we're going to play the body cam that we listened to earlier with Investigator Davis say, we had the fire department crush the B-pillar for us. I mean, they staged the vehicle and they put the same investigator who today is testifying to you, yeah, I cut and muted the dash camera.
He said the B-pillar was crushed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that not look like a B-pillar that is still intact?
Do me a favor, put it on the screen.
I mean, you want to say the B-pillar is
I mean,
crushed.
we heard Investigator Drum point at Mustafa's vehicle and says he pointed to where the damage is. Toward the back quarter panel of the vehicle. You can see where the SUV went into Mustafa's car.
I mean, I just can't imagine. I'm going to put this up on the screen again. Because I'm trying to figure out. Just leave it right there. I'm trying to figure out what is the justification for that. Let me make that full screen.
Hang on. Take it off screen.
I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the justification for doing that to his car? You want to tell me this was
He's telling you that we're trying to get the ACM, the box inside the car, that the vehicle is so crushed in. We just saw a picture that the vehicle is not crushed in.
We just saw a picture of the car still intact.
But they removed the Leica scan, though, and they have you rescan the vehicle after they crushed the car.
And by the way,
I mean, what are you doing? You're staging the car.
According to the reports, bystanders were able to get Mustafa out of the car.
The bystander got Mustafa and his family out of the car.
So why did they cut his door?
Oh, that's right. The door was...
Why is his door being cut? If he was already out of the car when paramedics arrived. When firefighters already arrived, why are they cutting up his door? What is the justification of chopping up at the vehicle? I mean, okay, let's say, oh, by the way, I'll say this. This is my final word. Okay. When I asked Casey Stevens, why does the car look like that? Okay, why does the car look like that? You know what his response was? He says the police told him that it was due to extraction. So whatever I just told you about bringing him in and presenting
There was
that photo to
you can't
the
verify.
jury.
You can't verify it. If you didn't have the file,
I mean,
you can't verify that the bystanders are the one that took Mustafa and his family out of the car.
Forget all that. Look, forget all that. They are literally telling Mustafa's defense, the car looks like this because it was due to extraction. They had to extract everybody out of the car. That's what they're telling the lawyer. Okay?
And they're telling the independent expert the same thing.
And if you had not stolen that file, you would never know. We would never know.
Yeah. I mean,
that this police department staged and crushed his car to make this accident look like something other than what reality is.
You know, I'll tell you, I had a really interesting conversation with you the other day after the podcast. And after you watched the podcast where I'm talking about Casey Fine, when he showed up on scene, he's putting a label on Mustafa that knowing him is drugs. He put that label on Mustafa. Mm-hmm. He told Robert Drum. And if he's telling Robert Drum that Mustafa's on drugs, what is he telling witnesses? He has his body cam muted. And I'm making a point that this officer is weaponizing these witnesses against Mustafa. And he's telling them the same thing that he's telling the main investigator, that it's up to you, the bystander. He's telling the bystander, it's up to you to get justice. Not me, the police officer. It's up to you to get justice. A mother and her baby died. Don't mind Mustafa on the floor in and out of consciousness. Don't mind that he just went into a coma. Don't mind him. He's on the floor in front of his vehicle. Because he's on drugs,
he deserves
it. A mother and a baby died. He deserves it. So he's weaponizing those witnesses. You know, after talking to you, I mean, sometime when you have this tunnel vision, it's always a good idea to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. I've got body cams that Officer Robert Drum is telling witnesses, we need you to get our ducks in a row before we pull the trigger on Mustafa.
Yeah.
Forget the justice system. He's already condemning Mustafa guilty. He's telling individuals that they're using as witnesses that Mustafa is guilty. He did this on purpose, and you can get him off the street.
What's the difference between Glenn Ford?
I'm going to play that body cam for you. It's going to blow you.
Look,
it's going to blow your mind out.
Listen, what's the difference between Glenn Ford, Tanisha Coleman, and someone on the scene like those people that they gather statements from? What is the difference? There's literally no difference. They weren't there at the accident. They weren't inside the car. And they're alleged witnesses. So if he's willing to tell Glenn Ford, we need you, Glenn Ford. We need you to get this guy. I need your statements to match our narrative. When they're telling Tanisha Coleman, we need your statements to match our narrative.
By the way,
to get this guy off the street, to put him behind bars forever. We need your statement to match our narrative. You're no longer questioning a witness. Now you're building a witness. Okay? You're building a witness to match your narrative, and it's on body cam. And this prosecutor wants to tell the judge, Your Honor, we sealed these files for the protection of witnesses, for the protection of people. Fuck all that. You sealed it because your police officers are actively coaching people to come in and say, yes, we are witnesses, and we're here to corroborate what the narrative is out of this police department against this guy. We're here to put this man behind bars, regardless of what the facts are.
Let me play a body cam for you. I mean, if you didn't have this body cam, I mean, whoever's tuning in, they'll tell you, what's your evidence? That you have an investigator inserting a bias into this case. I have a body cam.
Oh, it's worse than bias.
Not only, I mean, you have an investigator that's telling witnesses, this guy is guilty, he's on drugs, we need you.
When an investigator has his wife on the phone and his wife is actively coaching members of the community to come forward and pretend like they saw the accident, like Elizabeth Lee, like Amy Hodson, like Glenn Ford, who, by the way, admits, I have never met Mustafa before. I've never had communications with Mustafa before. And somehow Glenn Ford is being formed, is being shaped by Robert Drum, by Robert Davis. Okay, he's being shaped Cruz and Davis
You're
went to
telling
his
me,
apartment.
I mean, the prosecutor whole entire case is that Mustafa is a jealous boyfriend because he's jealous from the ex-boyfriend, that he crashed the vehicle on purpose, that he murdered his girlfriend and her 5-year-old baby. And then you find a body cam that the ex-boyfriend saying, "Oh, yeah, by the way, whatever I'm telling you about Mustafa,
Never seen it.
I've never seen it. I was never there. And by the way, Mustafa doesn't know me." What the fuck are we talking about? And then you open a body cam where the investigator is telling him, we need you to pull the trigger on him. Forget the justice system. It's up to you. We need to get our ducks in a row. You can get him out off the street for us.
Let me just point this out. When Tanisha Coleman told Robert Drum that she had a blink camera, Robert Drum immediately jumped on that, ran to a magistrate, got a subpoena for the blink camera. Even though, by the way, even though Tanisha Coleman was willing to give him that footage, he went and got a warrant, or he went and got a subpoena for those videos. Now listen to this. When Glenn Ford tells Rob Davis that he had emails and I think text messages from Mustafa, allegedly from Mustafa, from Dorothy's phone by Mustafa, but he had somehow deleted them. Why did Rob Davis not get a subpoena to Google?
Exactly. Especially if if the ex-boyfriend is claiming that Mustafa,
they know it's fake.
Because they know it's fake.
They know it's fake.
I mean, you're talking about you're telling the main investigator that I have evidence that Mustafa abused Dorothy, but mysteriously they're deleted.
By the way, let's not.
As an investigator, you can get a subpoena for the communication.
Let's not forget.
But they know it's fake.
Let's not forget. This is the same guy that pawned Dorothy's belongings from an alleged, according to the police, from an alleged double homicide scene.
Oh, pawned
and never questioned
pawned
about it.
Pawned the items
about it
in Dorothy's apartment, in Mustafa's apartment, including the Google Nest cameras in the apartment. And wait a minute, the 16-year-old comes online and says, Glenn Ford didn't pawn them. I went into the apartment. I cleaned out the apartment. What the fuck are we talking about? And they thought they were so comfortable that we're not going to get the Google Nest video. And they're terrified that today we have the Google Nest video that shows it's a beautiful relationship. Days on days of Google Nest video that shows it's a beautiful relationship, that the prosecutor is terrified.
By the way, I think Prosecutor Sammy and the police department's communication is such a major part of this case. It's not just exculpatory, but it's exonerating to Mustafa, to the point where this communication is going to tell you, why I was kicked out of the Commonwealth Attorney's Office when I said I want to present you the Google.
I mean,
Nest
I'll tell you the hypocrisy.
Because there is communication. There is communication. Because I went to the police, I went to Prince William County Police, and I went to that office, the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and I was rejected by both. There's a reason. There's communication that's going to clarify why they're not interested in these Google Nest videos. There's a reason. And that reason is exculpatory. And it's going to show you, not only is there a bias, but there's an active attempt to manipulate evidence into this case, to manipulate witnesses, and to actively delete and destroy evidence in this Mustafa Aljazairi case. There's an active, when I say attempt is when you're trying. There's literally destruction of evidence taking place in this case. There's literally tampering of witnesses taking place by police, by prosecutors in this case. There's active prosecutors talking to minors, and lying to the judge about it. It's happening. It's not.
We just read a document.
Theory.
We just read a document.
It's not an attempt.
Where the prosecutor sat down with the 16-year-old, Dorothy's daughter, but in court during a Brady motion, she's telling the judge the only time that the children were spoken to is in the forensic interview. You're lying to the judge.
And she's used to it because she's used to proffering without anybody fact-checking, if anybody going back behind her and saying, hey, you just proffered a lie. She's used to it. But now that you have the file, you can check her in real time. She just said the other day that no one spoke to the minors.
Do me a favor. Go over to exhibits.
Right there.
I have a body cam where Investigator Davis, who's not with the forensic unit, the children forensic unit, has the 16-year-old on speed dial. And as soon as he gets off the phone with that 16-year-old, a minor, he contacts the prosecutor, Sarah Sammy, who's telling Judge Weimer, Your Honor, the only time that the children were spoken to is inside the forensic interview. And then she turns around and says, I have no idea what my police officers are talking when they're talking and communicating with the children. Let's watch the body cam. Do me a favor. Go over to exhibits.
She got caught red-handed.
See him to come in, second, third, maybe he's like the 2.5 tight end.
Hello?
Hey, Kylie, it's Investigator Davis.
Okay, yeah.
Kylie is the 16-year-old.
Kylie, this is
Well, you don't have to see much of, maybe just a game.
He's not with the
right
children
now,
forensic
at
unit.
12:12 on the B. Mitch and Finley show with Scott Jackson substitute for JP on April 11th, Tuesday, I'm going to say, do not waste a draft pick. Not waste a draft pick because, like I laid out those good reasons. Sure. Do not spend a draft pick on a day 2, day 3 quarterback. Let's find another linebacker. Your call has been forwarded to an I laid out those good reasons. Sure. Do not spend a draft pick on a day 2.
Is that not Sarah Sammy? I've got better and
you got better
clear,
quality?
better quality. I've got 4K quality. Let's see if I can. I mean, sitting in front of the sheriff's office and playing sealed body cam in 4K quality, I can tell you this county is fucked. This chief of police, prosecutor Sarah Sammy, you know, maybe
lying to a judge is a big deal.
Is a big fucking
lying to
deal.
Judge Weimer is a bigger deal.
Judge Weimer told her there will be consequences in this case, she started shaking, and he told her flat out, he told her it's not up to me. It's a case out of the Supreme Court. He's talking about Brady versus Marland.
He's following the law, and he's telling her the law, when it comes down, it knows no color. It doesn't know you. It doesn't know Amy Ashford.
I mean, he denied.
It doesn't know anybody.
I mean, he denied the release of the communication. He denied the release of the communication. He approved all the Brady motions, all the Brady violations. That went forward. But the communication, he denied it. But then he turned around and he told Brad Haywood, if you have to file a motion, I'm open to it. By the way, this is a judge that doesn't want to hear anything. Now, we're building a case. Brady versus Marland entitles Mustafa to the communication if there's a bias. Clearly, there's a bias in this case when Officer Casey Fine shows up and puts a label on Mustafa that he's on drugs.
It's much bigger than a bias.
Clearly, when the prosecutor says blocks the reconstruction of the vehicle, when the children are being weaponized and she's being notified, when the officer falsified Mustafa's statement, forget all that. Well, before I go into, I've got a body cam where the investigator is telling the alleged witnesses, we need you to get our ducks in a row. We need you to get Mustafa off the street. Is that not a fucking bias? You tell them Mustafa is guilty, and now you're telling them it's up to you to get him off the street. Forget the justice system. You can help us.
And they're telling him they were never there.
By the way, those witnesses, yeah, exactly. Those witnesses are saying we were never there.
They're already disqualified. They're disqualified from being witnesses. They don't know Mustafa never made contact with him. And he's still telling them, we need you. Need what? What exactly do you need? He's telling you, I've never met Mustafa. I've never made contact with him. I've never seen any of the things that we just talked about. Never seen it. I don't have any evidence to it. I've never met the person. I never made contact with him. And he's like, I need you to get him off the street. I need you before we pull the trigger.
By the way, I'm gonna play this body cam for you. I want to end the podcast with that phone call, with that body cam.
Yeah.
Before we do, I want to go to Investigator Davis after he got off the phone with Kylie. And let's find out who is he calling.
And by the way, this is the instance. This is an instance where you find him talking to Kylie. How many times has he called her off the record?
Are we not? Is Mustafa's defense not entitled to his communication when he's dialing and talking to a minor when he's not with the children forensic unit?
And the only way to find out is if you get all these officers' communication, what phone number they dialed and when. You get a date range. You get a date range, okay? And you look for those numbers through the alleged witnesses, between the alleged witnesses and those officers and the prosecutor. Their phone numbers, communications, have to be disclosed. How many times did Davis call Kylie? How many times did Drum call Kylie? How many times did Drum call the children? How many times did Romero talk to the children?
Where are the missing body cams?
All these communications are key. And not only are they key, they are exculpatory. Okay, they're exculpatory, and they're going to get released whether Sammy likes it or not. I mean, she just lied to the judge the other day. I don't think he's going to be happy with it, to be honest with you. I don't think Judge Weimer is going to be happy with Sarah Sammy lying openly in court on the record.
That's the case that
he's not going to be happy
That's
with
the case that we're making on this podcast. We're not jumping to the conclusion that Judge Carol Weimer is corrupt. We're not jumping to that conclusion.
I think he's going to be pissed.
The community is the deciding factor.
He's going to be furious.
We're all looking at this file.
And if he's not, then
we're all looking at this file.
The people are going to be like, what's going on here?
Absolutely.
What's going on here?
We're asking questions. Why is her communication not released and blocked from the defense when the defense is entitled?
And by the way, when you lie to a judge, there has to be consequences. Otherwise, you're going to see Stephanie Buck lying. You're going to see Maloff lying. You're going to see all these prosecutors are not going to just go rogue and start lying to all the judges.
I'll tell you.
There has to be consequences for a prosecutor to lie to the judge on the record about something like this, communication that she claims. By the way, and if it was another prosecutor meeting with Kylie, I can understand. She can say, I didn't know they met. But that's you. You're on the letter. It says you, Maloff, and O'Sullivan met with Kylie, and you told the judge no one spoke to the children other than the forensic psychologists who are trained to deal with children. Bullshit. And last time I checked, none of you three, O'Sullivan, Maloff, or Sammy, are forensic psychologists. None of them are.
So where are the body cams when you met with this minor?
I mean, look, you're talking about the material of that meeting. I'm talking about this prosecutor lied to the judge. She openly lied to the judge. That's a problem. Now, the material of that meeting, that's another issue. That's another issue that you can go into. But the fact that she lied about a meeting that took place is a major problem for this county. And I don't think this judge is going to be happy about it.
This is the body cam where as soon as he gets off with Kylie, he calls in the prosecutor. I mean, she wants to tell him that the children were only spoken to in the forensic unit. When this investigator just got off the phone with a minor and he's updating the prosecutor in real time.
Day 3 quarterback. Let's find another linebacker. Your call has been forwarded to an they have Powell and Brissett.
See if I can zoom in.
Well, you don't have to see much of, maybe just a game or two. Right now, at 12:12 on the B. Mitch and Finley Show with Scott Jackson and substitute for JP on April 11th, Tuesday.
Yeah. Hang on.
I mean, I don't think anybody can save Sarah Sammy from that lie.
I mean, Sarah Sammy is in trouble.
She's in deep trouble. And
she thinks that Captain Doodley with Internal Affairs is gonna come to their rescue. I don't think so.
And by the way,
he could be laughing with you after courts. But he's got a higher up to answer to when there's a file that's leaked all over the internet that you are Like when it shows that you're instructing officers to falsify a case.
Look, and I'll say, unlike Amy Ashworth, who is an elected official, you could go to jail. Sammy
Absolutely.
could go to jail. She's not immune because she was not chosen by the people. She was hired to do a job. Okay? And if you violate the law, if you lie in court, if you falsify, if you tamper with evidence, if you withhold
Has Kylie
evidence,
texted you back?
I don't want to talk
you're
about
subject to prosecution yourself.
How's the math test?
And I think it's coming. For Sarah Sammy, it's coming.
Absolutely. I mean,
she's gonna get it. The law is the law. I'm telling you.
I think she
the
got
law
comfortable.
does not know.
She got
that
comfortable.
You're the judge's puppy.
She got
the law doesn't
comfortable.
know that.
She got comfortable proffering for 2.5 years.
Exactly.
Well, I think she's forgetting that the file is leaked all over the internet.
You can no longer falsify your proffers.
Absolutely.
You can no longer just lie about something and think that, oh, because it's sealed, you're going to hide behind the seal. Well, the seal's broken and cat's out of the bag.
The cat is out of the bag. Absolutely. When I have a body cam that shows an investigator that's not with the Children Forensic Unit is calling the prosecutor when she's sitting in court telling...
By the way, he's telling her he just spoke to Kylie. So when she says that the children were only spoken to, that the minors were only talked to by the forensic psychologist, he's actively telling her. So forget the letter. That's one issue, the letter. Now you have a body cam where he's telling her, hey, I just spoke to Kylie.
You know, I'll tell you something that's really interesting. I'm sitting here in front of the sheriff's office. I've got a sealed file. I've got a sealed body cam. I'm releasing the phone number of the prosecutor on the internet. And this prosecutor is so angry. Why can't we do anything about this guy that's releasing the sealed file? Maybe the fucking federal government is looking into you. For 2.5 years, you got away with falsifying a case, and it's catching up to you. That I promise you, by the time I'm done, you're going to end up in federal prison. You think weaponizing children that are 9, 10, and 14, you can get away with it?
She said she didn't know.
She didn't know. But I've got her in real time.
You have a body cam where the officer is telling her, I just spoke to the minor.
That's crazy.
What are you going to tell Judge Weimer?
That's crazy.
What are you going to tell Judge Weimer the next hearing?
That's crazy. I mean,
Your Honor, I forgot.
Do me a favor. Go over to exhibits.
You're going to say I forgot?
This is...
I mean, now you have a letter where she's meeting up with the minor.
100%.
And now you have another officer telling her, I just spoke to the minor. What are you going to tell Judge Weimer? How are you going to cover this up? Your Honor, the file was supposed to be sealed. He's going to tell her, that's not the issue here. You lied to me in court. Not only did you lie to me, you lied to the courts. And how many times have you lied now? I mean, you think you could just get away with lying? Like, who the hell are you? You think the law doesn't apply to you? Because we have to get Mustafa at all costs?
Whatever it takes.
I mean, there's a limit to that.
If you're abusing a 9, a 10, a 14-year-old.
There's a limit to...
But she wants to seal this case. She wants to seal this file and tell you, I'm protecting the children. What do you mean?
Protecting the children.
I mean, even Judge Weimer, to his defense, Judge Weimer was so angry. He said, the defense is telling me that there is evidence that the children are weaponized. Would you not find it concerning if an officer is weaponizing a 9, a 10, a 14 before they walked him into a forensic interview? She says, Your Honor, I have no idea what my police officers are doing. What the fuck are you talking about?
But she tells him that only forensic psychologists who are trained to deal with kids spoke to the minors.
Then why do I have Investigator Davis, as soon as he got off the phone with Kylie, he's dialing Sarah Sammy? Let's listen.
April 11th, Tuesday, I'm going to say...
I'm going to call the victim witness people and see if I can put you in touch with them, and then they see if they'll be the ones to keep you updated as to court proceedings. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? And if I have any questions about the phones, I'll give you a call back.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's all I can think of right now.
Okay. If I have any questions about the phones, I'll give you a call back.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's that's all I can think of right now.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Thanks, Kylie.
Hey, you're welcome.
All right. Bye.
I'm going to zoom in.
Well, you don't have to see much of, maybe just a game.
He's going to dial the prosecutor.
Right now, at 12:12 on the B. Mitch and Finley Show with Scott Jackson, substitute for JP, on April 11th, Tuesday, I'm going to say...
I mean, what do we have here?
What do we have?
See if I can put this in 4K quality.
You got to go to that, click on that setting thing, the second one.
This one.
Yeah.
Not waste a drop pick. Not waste a drop pick.
Quality. Right there, quality. At the bottom. Quality.
There we go.
At the bottom, quality. Yeah. Yeah.
Lot better. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can
Of course,
zoom in.
Ryan and I were talking about this earlier. This latest report from Front Office Sports. There was.
He loves me by live right now.
Where are you on this? I mean, do you see the thing dragging out much longer? Where do you think the timeline really lies? Because we've heard so many things that have turned out to miss these timelines so far. Where do you think this timeline?
There we go. All right.
Season is, of course, Ryan and I were talking about this earlier. This latest report from Front Office Sports. There was.
He loves me by live right now.
Where are you on this? I mean, do you see the thing dragging out much longer? Where do you think the timeline really lies? Because we've heard so many things that have turned out to miss these timelines so far. Where do you think this timeline really lies to where you would get nervous if there wasn't something?
I mean, just click back on the red line.
Really lies because we've heard.
Live right now.
Just go back.
Where are you on this?
Yeah, keep going back.
Think of right
You don't
now.
have the snapshot
Okay.
already?
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks, Kylie.
Hey, you're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Podcast, it has to be played in real time. Her phone number, when she's being updated, has to be played in real time, because what we're doing here is we're building a case on these prosecutors, because there's a case out of the Supreme Court, Brady versus Maryland.
That's it.
I'm going to say.
That's it. There we go. Sarah Sammy. Sarah Sammy.
Draft pick on a day 2, day 3 quarterback. Let's find another linebacker.
Sarah Sammy is being updated in real time after Investigator Davis, who's not with the Children Forensic Unit, just talked to a minor. And she wants to stand in court and tell Judge Weimer, Your Honor, I have no idea. I don't know what my police officer are talking. I don't know what they're saying to the kids.
Right. Right. Okay. On that note.
Well, before we end the podcast, I want to play one body cam. I mean, we're sitting here making a case that Casey finds is weaponizing the witnesses on the scene. If he's telling the main investigator that Mustafa, putting a label on Mustafa, he's not doing that with the witnesses. Well, I have a body cam that you have investigators who's telling witnesses.
Davis is telling Glenn Ford.
Absolutely.
He's weaponizing Glenn Ford, who says he's not a witness.
When he tells him Mustafa is guilty.
He's weaponizing him.
Yeah.
When specifically Glenn Ford tells him, I've never met Mustafa. I've never made contact with him. And I've never seen any of the allegations that are being put forward. Never seen it. And he still tells him, I need you. I need you, Glenn Ford. We need you.
I mean, they're
to get him off the street.
You know, I'll tell you, they're comfortable.
I mean, that makes you think. It makes you think, is this case about a car accident?
Who says you need to...
Or is this something much more sinister? Okay? Clearly, this is not about a car accident. You just want the man off the street. You want him behind bars for whatever reason. And you know, like, I think it's, I want to say it's funny, but it's not really funny. That you're going to get to a point in this case where the prosecutor is just going to bring Mustafa to court and tell the judge, Your Honor, I don't have any evidence that this man committed the crime, but I believe he's not entitled to life. He does not deserve freedom. I don't know why. I don't have any evidence against him, but he should just be behind bars. Take my word for it.
I mean, what's coming out of this case is so disturbing.
That's what it's going to come down to.
I mean, take a step back and look at what they're doing in this case. They're telling you in Prince William County, a Mustafa will not get due process. That's what they're telling you. That a white girl is dead, her baby is dead. It doesn't matter if it's a car accident. It's a white girl, and it's a Mustafa. Doesn't matter if it's a car accident. He doesn't get a due process in Prince William County. What the fuck are you talking about?
Looking at that car.
What are you talking about? This is a fucking car accident. He lost his family in a car accident. And you want to sit there and tell me there is no due process? You seal off the case. You weaponize the children. You cut and mute the dash camera. You stage the fucking car. And you're so comfortable that you've got a judge, you've got a Commonwealth attorney who's sealing off the case. No one can verify what your fucking police officers are doing. That you're just going to condemn Mustafa guilty the minute you show up on the scene.
Where's the steering angle?
And if this could happen to Mustafa, it can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody.
And I don't give a fuck if you are white. God help you if you piss off your white neighbor who might know a police officer or two.
Who might know Casey Fines.
Who might know Casey Fines.
Or Robert Drum.
That if you get in a car accident,
they're going to put money, employ money
and you
against
think you're safe just because your name is not Mustafa, think again. If this can happen to Mustafa in Prince William County, no one is fucking safe because this could happen to you. This could happen to anybody. It
happened to Tatiana David.
Tatiana David is not a Mustafa. I've got a body cam.
She's a service member.
5 years served this country.
Okay.
Take a wild guess what unit out of Prince William County is involved. Take a wild fucking guess. Casey Fines.
Casey Fines.
The same officer that as soon as he shows up on scene, puts a label on Mustafa.
With a smart.
Condemn Mustafa guilty because we've been briefed about Mustafa. How dare a fucking Mustafa in this county sue us? How dare a fucking Mustafa sue the police? We have to put him back into his place.
Yeah. Even if we have to destroy evidence, abuse children in the process.
I can't get over this phone call with Glenn Ford. Glenn Ford on a body cam. I have a body cam. He says, Mustafa doesn't know me. I didn't see anything. But here, he's asked to manufacture lies into this case. Listen to this body cam.
Well, unfortunately, something bad did happen, which is why we're involved now. And I want to make sure that this guy clearly does not have the opportunity to do this again. I'd also like to have you fill out a statement about what your conversations with her. Because Mr. Ford, I think you, like I said earlier, we want to make sure that we, in this case, cover all of our bases and make sure that we talk to everybody who's involved or knew anything about the relationship between these two. Because, I mean, you've already said it. He's not a nice guy. We need to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and that what he did to Dorothy.
This is the ex-boyfriend who's telling you on a body cam. There's a body cam where he says,
"I've never met him,
Mustafa. Mustafa doesn't know me, and I didn't see anything." But he's asked to lie for them.
They're begging Glenn Ford. They're begging Mr. Ford.
Mr. Ford now.
It's Mr. Ford now. They're begging Mr. Ford.
I mean,
the pedophile.
if you listen to this, at one point he thanks him for his service. This guy is homeless, by the way.
He's begging. He's begging. By the way,
he's
Mr.
on drugs.
Ford.
He's got a rap sheet of a criminal history.
Look,
and he's it's so comical listening to these body cams when he's talking to Glenn Ford. He's Mr. Ford. At one point, he thanks him for his service. The guy doesn't have a fucking car. He just told you, I walk to work.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to say some stuff, okay, about Glenn Ford.
Glenn Ford, who admit on a recorded line that he slept with a minor.
Okay,
on a recorded line.
Listen to this. The police and Commonwealth Attorney Amy Ashworth is willing to go as far as not prosecute Glenn Ford for his criminal activity just so he can come in.
That's
just
right.
so he can come in
That's
and
right.
manufacture.
They removed his criminal charges.
Manufacture statements against Mustafa where he already admitted he's never met Mustafa. He's already admitted that he's never seen any of the allegations being brought by the prosecutor. He's never seen it. He said, I've never witnessed it. Okay? I don't know this guy. I've never met with him. I never had communication with him. And the prosecutor is willing to not prosecute crimes committed by this guy. Brandishing a weapon while drunk with drugs and intent to distribute. 4 charges that were simply disappeared from Glenn Ford's record. Disappeared. Now imagine, you're walking downtown, okay, and you come across a drunk Glenn Ford who pulls a weapon on you. Police show up and they find this guy is drunk with a weapon and he has drugs on him. And I don't know how they determined he was intending to distribute, but there's a victim in that crime. And Amy Ashworth said, fuck the victim, I'm gonna protect this criminal because I need him. I need him to come into a jury and say whatever needs to be said to put Mustafa behind bars. I don't give a fuck if he's lying. I don't give a fuck if he's a criminal.
So she doesn't care if he's a criminal. She doesn't care if he's a pedophile. She doesn't care that he slept with the 16-year-old. I mean, this is the part that's disturbing. There's a recording. There's a recording of Glenn Ford admitting that he slept with the 16-year-old, who's being used as the star witness. I've never seen a case where the Commonwealth attorney looks the other way that her star witness is admitting to sleeping with another witness that's also lying in this case.
He stole property from Dorothy's apartment.
The disturbing part, they're admitting. By the way, I have a body cam where this same officer that's begging him to get Mustafa off the street responds to a pawn slip where Glenn Ford and the 16-year-old goes into the apartment, pawns off the Google Nest cameras. The cameras that's in the apartment who's supposed to show if it's a beautiful relationship or if it's not a beautiful relationship. So the police weaponize the children. You've got these people that the police are begging to testify in Mustafa's case, go in, given access into the apartment to remove the cameras inside the apartment. What the fuck are we talking about? And now the prosecution is so terrified. Sarah Sammy is terrified because we have the Google Nest videos that shows it's a beautiful relationship.
By the way, that's Davis, Rob Davis, who said he has an idea about this case.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's going to cost them spending their own money.
That is crazy. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to have the fucking body cam. Do me a favor.
I wonder what kind of communication Rob Davis had with Glenn Ford and if he paid him money to say the things he said.
Why do you think the prosecutor Sarah Sammy, says it's dangerous to release the communication?
Oh, I'm sure it's dangerous, of course. When an officer is paying somebody, a homeless guy,
she knows.
When an officer is paying somebody who's a criminal like Glenn Ford to come in and manufacture probable cause and manufacture false allegations, false testimony to the courts, that's a very big fucking problem for the police.
She definitely knows.
It's a very big problem.
She knows what she's done in this case.
You know, I keep going back.
I want to play the body cam where Davis is talking about pumping money into this case.
I keep going back to our conversation with Lieutenant Gary Spina and now Lieutenant Sean Shelton. You know, I wonder what they think about all this.
I honestly do wonder what they think about this.
And you know, I'm not gonna say anything negative because I haven't made contact with them since. But I'm just curious. I know they're watching this. I know they're actively watching what's happening. They have obviously more access than I do into their internal affairs. Okay? And I wonder if they're okay. I wonder if they're okay with officers like Rob Davis, like Rob Sermon, like Chad Mason, like Robert Drum being on the force with them. I wonder if they like being on the same team when you have to spend your own money on a criminal to come in and lie to the courts. I wonder how they feel about that. I don't think they're going to be okay with it, honestly. I mean, I don't think I met Lieutenant Gary Spina, but we met with Sean Shelton. I mean, he seems like an honorable man, okay? And
yeah, but the honorable man, honorable man. I know what you're saying.
You have to assume that somebody like Sean Shelton, they're going to do the right thing.
I mean, I hear you, but I have the internal file that the audio that we gave Sean Shelton, the audio was given to Robert Drum to conveniently put in a supplemental report that he said in his supplemental report, I couldn't hear anything. So, well, I want to hear, I want to believe you.
I think it goes back to the chief of police.
I want to hear you. I want to believe you. I want to be on the same page with you. But here is the reality that's coming out of this case. We're all watching what's coming out of this case. There's too much that's leaked out into this community.
To be contained.
To be contained. I mean, at this point, you're buying time. You, the prosecutor, is buying time. But it's going to come to a point that the judge is going to wash his hands from protecting you. As a matter of fact, you, the prosecutor, already threw your police officers under the bus. When you said, I don't know what communication took place between my police officers and the individuals that are used in this case.
It's going to be every man for himself. When the shit
But
hits,
here's the reality. This
fucking
prosecutor is so involved.
There's no way for her to.
You
there's
can't
nowhere for her to go.
save yourself.
You can't.
I mean,
you have
Amy
a
Ashworth
document. You have a document.
Is an elected official. Maybe she's immune because she's an elected official, but you are a prosecutor. You're going to be held accountable by law. If not today, it's going to be tomorrow. I mean, I'm here. I've been here for 2.5 years. And look at how far we've come. And if I can get the file out of the server in the police department, do you want to end? Do you want to say anything before we end?
I think you should just wrap it up. On that note.
On that note. We've got we're waiting. Right now we're waiting. There's a lot that's coming out of this case. There's a lot of development. We're waiting for the SD card. We have an independent expert inspecting the SD card. We're waiting for the audio and the full dash camera to come out. We're waiting for the reconstruction of the vehicle, Mustafa's vehicle, the SUV. There is a lot that's coming out of this case. And we'll update you into what is coming out of the Mustafa. And it's sad that I'm updating this community about really a giant case.
Where's Julie Carey?
Where the hell is Julie Carey?
I was going to say when you need her, but...
I mean, it's disturbing that I'm sitting here telling you right here in front. I mean, you've got Prince William County Police Department right here. You've got 2 vehicles that just pulled into the parking lot. You've got the sheriff office right there. And I'm sitting here telling you that I've entered the server out of the police department.
You are Julie Carey 2.0.
And the chief of police is terrified to address this giant leak out of his police department. And if that's not disturbing, if that doesn't say anything about this case, we'll wake you up when Mustafa comes home and this prosecutor in jail. I want to thank everybody for being here. Don't forget to share the YouTube channel, hit the like button, leave and ask questions in the comment section. Support the podcast through the Cash App. Thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. And Judge Carol Weimer, you're under the microscope, sir. The community is watching, and the community is the deciding factor. Not going to jump to the conclusion that you're an impartial judge, you're a corrupt judge. I'm not going to say that. The community is the deciding factor. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope.
2 years in a cell, no trial, no voice. Truth buried deep, but we ain't got no choice. They tried to erase them, break them apart, but we scream free Mustafa. From the soul, from the heart. They falsified the paper, twisted every word, turned a car crash to murder, like justice never heard. Dorothy and Empress, angels in the sky. Now they blame a broken man while the real ones lie. A badge and a pen, that's all it took. Signed his fate with a false report and a dirty look.
Wherever the fuck is on the other side, what the fuck that guy doing? Follow him and then
And again, scream Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. Amy Ashworth, playing judge in the jury in a county so dirty, soaked in fury. Police in the courts all in on the plot. They framed an innocent man and left his soul to rot, but his family's out marching, banners held high, while supporters flood timelines, refusing to lie. They want silence, we give them the storm. Truth blazing through like justice reborn. Every post, every chant, every sleepless night is a spark in the dark that's ready to ignite. This ain't just a song, it's a battle cry for every soul locked up while the guilty lie. We free Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. 2 years too long, time to rise above. Truth is power when fueled by love. So we'll march, we'll fight, we'll never let go until Mustafa walks free and the whole world knows. In a cell, no trial, no voice. Truth buried deep, but we ain't got no choice. They tried to erase them, break them apart, but we scream free Mustafa. From the soul, from the heart. They falsified the paper, twisted every word, turned a car crash to murder, like justice never heard. Dorothy and Empress, angels in the sky. Now they blame a broken man while the real ones lie. A badge and a pen, that's all it took. Signed his fate with a false report and a dirty look.
wherever the fuck is on the other side, what the fuck that guy doing? Follow him and then
and again, scream Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. Amy Ashworth, playing judge in the jury in a county so dirty, soaked in fury. Police in the courts all in on the plot. They framed an innocent man and left his soul to rot, but his family's out marching, banners held high, while supporters flood timelines, refusing to lie. They want silence, we give them the storm. Truth blazing through like justice reborn. Every post, every chant, every sleepless night is a spark in the dark that's ready to ignite. This ain't just a song, it's a battle cry for every soul locked up while the guilty lie. We free Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. 2 years too long, time to rise above. Truth is power when fueled by love. So we'll march, we'll fight, we'll never let go until Mustafa walks free and the whole world knows. no trial, no voice. Truth buried deep, but we ain't got no choice. They tried to erase him, break him apart, but we scream free Mustafa, from the soul, from the heart. They falsified the paper, twisted every word, turned a car crash to murder, like justice never heard. Dorothy and Empress, angels in the sky, now they blame a broken man while the real ones lie. A badge and a pen, that's all it took. Signed his fate with a false report and a dirty look.
Wherever the fuck is on the other side, where the fuck that guy goes, follow him and follow him.
And again, scream Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. Amy Ashworth, playing judge and the jury in a county so dirty, soaked in fury. Police and the courts all in on the plot. They framed an innocent man and left his soul to rot, but his family's out marching, banners held high, while supporters flood timelines, refusing to lie. They want silence, we give them the storm, truth blazing through like justice reborn. Every post, every chant, every sleepless night is a spark in the dark that's ready to ignite. This ain't just a song, it's a battle cry for every soul locked up while the guilty lie. We free Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name.